Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. Back here live for your weekly fix of the pro racing. We are here at Laguna Seca to end the week in what has been a beautiful, clear skies and great weather across this Laguna Seca track for the whole week's worth of racing, and it is another warm one we have in store today. Plenty of people out there on the circuit at the moment. I pressed the wrong button there, so we'll get the cameras back working in just a minute. There we go. Plenty of people out there on circuit today. You can see there's the format on the right hand side of your screen there. 10 a.m. for this free practice into that 2 p.m. race, with then the Sunday free practice 2 qualifying and race 2. If you're new here and wondering why there's no qualifying for race 1, it is the reverse grid race of the championship order, with Schmidt has popped one up into third place. Looking good so far for a couple of these gold drivers. There's a lot of platinums yet to set a lap time, though, at the moment. We have 28 of the 30 cars in so far, and we have two names to mention tonight. Gluhak is in with us. He's new for the Pro Series. You would have seen him on Tuesday night in the Who Darren Cup. And then that of Vasic makes the step up from Pro-Am to Pro. His pace has been good over his over his review period, and he's been put into gold. They are the NS Spinners as well, with their latest Aston Martin and Lexus onto the grid. But a great grid here so far. 28 drivers. We're expecting 30 in the lobby tonight, so should be an action-packed night once again of racing for everybody out there. And what a season it has been so far in terms of the action. We've had a lot of weather play its part this season, and it's been brilliant to watch. If you've been tuned in for the entire season, obviously we had that 2-week gap due to electrical problems at the home, so we didn't get to broadcast then. We pushed the season back 2 weeks, so you haven't missed any action there. We've still got all the races to go, because this would have been week 7 of the season. Instead it's week 5, the halfway stage for the pro drivers in this championship. And the championship standings look a little like this. Ben Ruck, the man who's quickest so far, is leading the way. 440.5 points he is on, to Radic's 409. Schmidt is in P3 in the championship at the moment on 385 from Vitas, who isn't looking... I mean, he's not set a valid lap time yet. He's just come out the pit lane. Possibly waiting for that track to change, because it was on green for a while. He's on 342.5. Patrick Leger is 5th. From then Marinich, Mezin, Milliston and Overtaker, with Ian McGowan rounding out your top 10. McGowan's going pretty well at the moment, up in P12 on the leaderboard so far. Sokolov is then 13th from Comore, Cairns, Platisek, Skunky and Cosme. And in the Gold Championship it is Class from Harris, 287.5 against 284.5 between them two. Hibbs is on 238, so he is in contention at the moment as well. He currently sat 9th overall, so a good bit of pace for him in this one so far. Then it is Messino on 221, DeCourt on 214. Richie Michel is in 6th, with Maiger, Varga, Gleeson and Matt Wright rounding out your top 10. Then it is Gillies, Cardno, Manavola, Ugoni, Jimenez, Langley, Vasic, Van der Ven, Wainwright, Rob Smith, Rob Ramsell and Gluhak at the bottom. Vasic carries half of his points from Pro-Am into the Pro Series. Langley is the driver we are missing. He's had internet issues just before. As he was in the lobby, everything froze for him and his internet went down. So hopefully Langley will be able to get in for the start of the race, and hopefully everything will be going fine for him. The Teams Championship, though, is another interesting one to read. BAL Racing lead the way on 725 points, with Balkan Simub on 668. So some 58 points clear. About 58 points clear there. Racing Softs are on 601. Balkan Esports a P4 from Greasy Bandits Racing. Then it's Cloud9 who are tied with the Balkan OZ Racing. Sleepy Lizard Repsol Racing, SimPlay Racing, the Flying Dutchman, the Casuals, Quantum Motorsport, Team KSC Squadra Corsa, Team Richie Corsa, Momentum Motorsport, Only Momentum, Momentum PR Team, Bearded Racing, NS Spinners and MMS bringing up the rear. Mezin's now out on circuit. Marinich is also out on circuit. Yetzi, Sokolov or Overtaker set a lap time. 4 minutes left, though, of practice. Ben Ruck leading the way, 3/10 quicker than Schmidt. And Richie Michel going great guns at the moment, up in that P4 spot, P3 spot class, up in P4. Leger just off the back of them. Cardno 6th. So the Cloud9 drivers having a good start to their evening as well. Mike Mathews running in 7th. Does love this track, does Mike Mathews. So we'll see if he can go well tonight. Sorry, Gleeson is so far in 8th, and it's Platsek Hibbs, who's just come out the pits in 10th. Gillies 11th from Marinich, Comor. And then in McGowan, Manavola, Vasic. Harwich has dropped to 17th, but not a lot in it. Couple of tenths, and he already will find himself up in that top 10 spot as they go through the session. But the interesting thing here, though, is this is practice, and I'm looking at the fuel loads now. There's a lot of drivers who have done a lot of laps on different fuel loads. For example, Klasser's best time was done on 56 litres of fuel. The 3 in front of him was all a lot lighter than him, 14, 11 and 19 litres. So, you know, Klasser's lap time there, pretty good lap time, half a second off the pace, and run, you know, more than double the fuel load of the cars ahead. So keep your eyes on Class tonight. He looks like he could be up for this one. And what a week it has been here at Laguna Seca. We've seen some tricky conditions around this circuit, and it's been an interesting one to keep our eyes on through the whole week. It's a slippery surface here at Laguna Seca. Even when optimum, you don't feel like it's got that optimum grip that you'd expect at other circuits. So we'll see what will happen around this Laguna Seca circuit. But Marinich just goes up into second place, so a good lap from him there in qualifying in the practice so far. Felix in the chat says Matthias Willie Clace for the win. Swindlemac saying good evening, SimPlay, and chat good evening to you, Swindlemac, and good evening as well to Neil Broom, one of our YouTube supporters. Hence why his name is in green with that lovely green star next to his name. And what a time this could be here at Laguna Seca. We saw some great racing last night. Neil Broom really on a good bit of form. If you've missed the last couple of weeks, he's started to get onto that podium a lot more frequent and just closing that gap a little bit in towards them top 2. So Broom working hard to do what he can do. And there we said about Harris, look, just finds a few temps and he'll be right up there. Well, he is. He's 8 tenths off the back of the leader now. Good evening to Phil Atherton as well, who says you on your own in the commentary box tonight. No, Jamahl Clouden should be joining us hopefully a little later on, so I'm just on my own for the time being. Jamahl should be with us very soon. Richie Michelle, though, your current gold leader in this practice session. Harris, not, you know, he's gone. He needs to find a bit more pace, needs to find a couple more attempts to get himself ahead of Class. That's where he'll want to be. Messin's just moved up to 4th. 1 minute 34 left to go in this session. Good evening to Sam Williams, our race 2 overall winner last night, the silver winner. Great night for Sam Williams. 2nd place, 1st place, pole position, 2 fastest laps. And yeah, great to see. Phil Atherton says, can't wait for Easter to come around. And don't forget, clocks go forward next weekend. Indeed they do, Phil. Good evening to Peaceful Stepdad as well in the chat. And if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, the bell to be notified when we go live, and subscribe to the channel if you are new, as well as check out our fantastic sponsors in the description below. Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing and much more, including SimPlay Motorsport merchandise. And check out our pro sponsor, Big Apple Logistics, Specialise in moving plants and heavy machinery worldwide. Good evening to Tech Leader, who's not been in the chat for a while, not been on the track as well as the chat and the track. So hope you're well, Luke Saunders. Miss seeing your BMW M4 take to the circuit, but hope you're well, buddy. Great to see you in the chat for this one tonight. So the Platinum drivers just starting to bump up their times up the top of the leaderboard. 2 drivers, excuse me, will be on a qualifying ban tonight. That is Ugoni and Comor will have to serve a qualifying ban this evening. That was for retirement for Ugoni 2 weeks ago because he wasn't here last week. And then Comor reaching 5 penalty points. So they will not be able to qualify for race number 2 as practice comes to an end. Now then, the 26 is about to come across the line to set a lap time. So we'll see what the Nissan of Mackenzie can do. Had a really good, strong showing at Watkins Glen and only 8 tenths off the pole here as well in this one tonight. What can Gluhak do then? 27th at the moment. His first race in the GT3s here at SimPlay Motorsport. Obviously, he was in the GT4s Tuesday night. And, yeah, looked all right in the GT4. So we'll see what he can do in these GT3s. As we are just waiting for the final couple of cars to come to the line. Here comes Gluhak towards the line. And what will his lap time be? He's currently down in 27th. Finds an improvement, goes up to 25th then. Manavola will stay in 19th place. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything at the moment. It is only practice. Mezin towards line. Matt Wright has just finished. He's just moved up to 22nd. What is your favourite chocolate Easter egg then, Mathew Duffin? It's got to be a cream egg. Cadbury's cream egg. For me, love a good Cadbury's cream egg. Right, your grid order for race number 1. Pletzek from Comore on the front row. Row 2 is Sokolov and Mike Matthews. Row 3, Mackenzie from Ian McGowan. Row 4 is Overtaker from Mezin. Row 5 is, in fact, where is Mezin? Mezin is 8th, so I'm not sure. There's a car missing, but I know Langley is the one car that is missing from tonight, so must have been a Platinum driver that isn't here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So row 5 is Mezin alongside Marinich. Row 6 is Leger and Vitas. Row 7, Schmidt and Ruck. Your pole sitter in the gold category is Rob Smith. Vasic just behind him with Ugoni alongside Manavola. Manavola's alongside Cardno. Gillies alongside Matt Wright. Gleeson alongside Benny Varga. Richie Michel alongside DeCourt. Messino from Hibbs with Harris alongside Clayson and Gluhak being the new driver. Yes, Vasic is new as well. But because he has raced in Pro-Am and he's brought half his points, he has been promoted up the grid into his correct grid position in regards to that championship order. Gluhak starts at the back for the reverse grid race. Good to hear, Tech Leader. Glad you're doing well, buddy. Going to be an interesting race tonight, and we'll get the poll out in just a few moments' time. But yeah, Laguna Seca, tricky circuit to get right. We saw last night, and as me and Langley were saying, overtaking is difficult at the best of times around this circuit, and that at times can just put you on the back foot a little bit in terms of what you want to try and do and what you can actually do. So we'll see what will happen here as we get this poll out now for your race 1 winner. Let's see what will happen in this opening race of the afternoon. And it should be a cracking night's worth of action, to say the least, here at SimPlay Motorsport. We've got the replay modes ready to go. We was told, or I was informed today, that there was double audio with the replay audio and then me talking over that last night. So we have sorted that one out today. So there shouldn't be that double audio happening, and I'll be able to talk over. You won't be able to hear the car noises, but you won't have me also talking over myself on the commentary. And if you want to tune in, next week we head to the British track in Norfolk, Snetterton, for the start of the back half of the season. Week number 6, Who Darren Cup will be brought to you by Tinnis. Me and Langley will be back in the box for the Pro-Am Championship, and it'll be myself at least for Pro next week at Snetterton. Snetterton, one of them love-hate circuits. It's a bit like Marmite. You either love it or hate it. And we'll see what the drivers make at Snetterton. The weather looks interesting as well for next week, so that could be a crucial thing to keep our eyes on over the weekend, going into early next week, to see what the weather will do, because it could be a crazy night for the drivers. Snetterton, not the easiest circuit in the world, and the last time we raced Snetterton, it was a thoroughly enjoyable race. Really good fights up and down the grid, and Ben Ruck, who had such a good lead, ended up having a moment and dropping down the order a little bit. But let's see what happens here tonight. We've got to get Laguna Seca out the way first. Pletzek, like we said, is on pole, as the drivers just slow down a little bit just to get into double file now. He'll speed up a little bit more just to catch up to Pletzek, who is potentially way out his grid box at the moment, but he looks like he's still warming them tyres and brakes up here a little bit more. As you see there, Comore being a bit more aggressive on the stop-start, with Mike Matthews kind of doing the same thing there, as Pletzek just riding the brakes a little bit more. He's going to have to drop back a long way here, is Pletzek. He's not going to want to be out his box by the time it changes. He's got a good lead over the cars in front. I'll be surprised if this isn't out of position at the start. Mike's pretty close to the back of Comore, as we then for round number 6, or week number 6 of the season. A green and go. Pletzek with that good start. No drive through for him. Mike Matthews immediately comes across to cover off Sokolov. McGowan and McKenzie. Little bit of contact there, and McKenzie hits into the back of Sokolov, pushing him wide. I think he's lost her ear. Mike's having a look up the inside of Comor, nearly into the back of him. And where did Sokolov go? He is around, and that is one of the black McLarens around as well. It's a bit of chaos at the back end of the grid, but Pletzek away well with that of Comor just in behind. It all looks pretty good though. Further back, bar after this little pack here. Sokolov involved, Schmidt involved, Michael Harris involved, as well as Benny Volger, it looks like, and Krista Court. So Schmidt, one of the championship runners involved in that incident at the start. But it's Pletzek who leads the way so far up the hill towards the corkscrew for the first time. He's got Comor just behind him, who's got to serve that qualifying ban. And Pletzek now will be looking to try and make a move into the corkscrew. Goes very deep at the first part. That's going to put him on the gravel for the second bit. Can Comor capitalise on that? No, he can't. He was a little bit too far back. Mike Matthews was having a look, and he's got a very racy McKenzie just behind. Now Comor is attacking the back of Pletzek. McKenzie and Mike Matthews side by side. Mike might fancy a look up the inside of Comor. Comor darts to the pit straight away. Not wanting any of that. McKenzie now has a look on the back of Mike Matthews. The up and under out the final corner. And then Nissan, with the straight line speed, gets ahead of Mike Matthews, and Mike may tuck into that slipstream now. Indeed he does, as McKenzie sets the fastest lap of the race. But what a start for the Nissan. Bit of bumping with Sokolov at the start, but he's up into second place, and there is half the grid in the pits at the start of this one. So already everybody showing their intent on what they're going to do and try and get out of the way of most of the traffic. The problem is half of them have pitted, so it may negate that. But yeah, good run for Comor on Pletzek. Then further down the order, we got Ben Ruck looking on the back of Overtaker, just ahead of your net gold leader at the moment of Manavola. Crucial for Ben Ruck. No Radic tonight, so Radic will be getting his drop score. And this could be crucial for Ben Ruck to try and capitalise on some good points over Radic and pull away. Schmidt's already had a nightmare start to this race. Further down then, it was Gleeson who was the black McLaren around. He's got past Rob Smith, and he's trying to hunt down that of Gluhak in his first race. Messino coming up to chase down Matt Wright. Manavola still with Ben Ruck and Overtaker and Marinic, who's not a million miles off the back of McGowan and Mike and McKenzie, who is putting pressure on Pletzek here towards the final corner. There you go. Does Pletzek or McKenzie decide to pit? No, the top three all stay out. So does McGowan. That is Marinic into the pit lane then with Ben Ruck. So Ruck trying to go for that undercut already. Further down to Messina within 7/10 of Matt Wright. He's got Richie Michel just behind him currently as well. So we'll see what he can do there. Ugoni hasn't done his pit stop, so he'll have to come back in once again and get that pit stop done. He was one of the drivers in, but obviously didn't add the fuel, just repaired the damage. Richie Michel, fastest lap of the race. He had good practice pace. Now that's gone the way of Schmidt, who isn't a million miles away here. This is the biggest gap on circuit, bar that of Rob Smith, who's into the pit lane. Gillies is being caught by Mezin here. So Mezin trying to get past Gillies. These two have already pitted. Marinic is on his way out now. Where is Comor, who was your net pit leader? Will he be out the pit? Will he be able to get past Marinic? Ben Ruck is also on his way out. Patrick Leger trying to get onto the back of Comor. We've got a fight between Hibbs and Class, the two Greasy Bandits drivers. Now, you know, team orders, will they come into play to allow Class to try and pull away from Harris a little bit? But Hibbs is still in this championship as well. Hibbs got a bit of damage on the front end of his car, though, so it's about at what stage does Hibbs decide that he's going to attack his teammate instead of playing that team game. Obviously, both in that Greasy Bandits racing car. Team orders are allowed. Let's not forget that. Team orders are allowed. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Hibbs fights Class a lot harder here than normal. We see Hibbs at times been a great teammate to the likes of John Goudet in the past, where he's helped John Goudet get, let him through a couple of places if Johnny's quicker. Will he do the same to Class here? He's gone to that inside line. Is this to let Class go? It is to let Class go. And that surprises me. Not massively because of Class's pace, but it surprises me in the sense of Hibbs isn't far away in this championship. Right, Manavola and Overtaker still pretty close together. McGowan's gaining on the back of Mike Matthews, who's now 2 seconds behind Pletzek. And Schmidt, Matt Wright, Richie Michel and McKenzie have all pitted this time around. There's Patrick Leger. Ben Ruck's just behind him. And then there's Vitas having a cracking season in the Platinum Championship. Mezin ahead of... Mezin trying to chase down Marinic. And we've still got Hibbs within 6/10 then of class as well. Gillies within that half a second of Mezin. But he's got Cardno not far behind. But Mackenzie, who's coming out the pit lane, will he be ahead of Comore? He has a shorter run through turn 1. Does Comore appear alongside that of Mackenzie? Oh, Mackenzie thinks about shutting the door. Comore got on the brakes to avoid that one. Little naughty there from Mackenzie. As we say good evening to Chris in the chat as well. But Comore falls behind the Nissan then. So Comore down behind Mackenzie. And Mike Matthews into the box now then. Here comes Comore looking to attack the back of the Nissan. Once again, Patrick Leger and Ben Ruck just waiting in the wings behind. So it's Pletzek from McGowan from overtaker. Manavola is your net gold leader at this stage of the race. Where did Schmidt come out in all of this? He's ahead of Sokolov, so 24th at the moment. Still a lot of cars to pit. Ugoni still has to pit as well. Gillies on the back of Matt Wright. As Mike says, oh no. I think he must have sped in the pit lane then. We'll see when he comes out. And Class is attacking the back of Richie Michelle. Gillies has got past Matt right now. Mike thinks he sped in the pit lane. Well, we'll wait and see as here comes Mackenzie round the final corner. There's Leger on the back of Comore and Benruck on the back of Leger. Mike's gone green. Let's see if he has got that stop-go penalty that he thinks he might have as he's going to come off the limiter. And there we go, stop-go 30. Ruined what could have been a pretty good result tonight as Mike Matthews now. And we'll see where he would have come out in this pit race. There's Comore taking the long way round. Mike gets it stopped and tucked in. Comore will be past him. So he'll be behind Comore and Mackenzie, but ahead of Leger and Ruck. And, well, that's Mike's first race in the bin. As Ben Ruck now, slidey through turn 3. As Jimenez says he's made it. Great to see you in the chat, Jimenez. Marinich has been passed by Mezin. Class has got the fastest lap of the race. He's now on the back of Richie Michelle. You understand why Hibbs has let Class go there then. Because Class has got really good pace at the moment. Who's in the pit lane? That is McGowan, Vasic and Gleeson all into the pits. And this train behind Mackenzie of Comore, Mike, Leger, Ben Ruck, Vitas, all there. Mezin's only 1.8 behind and he's bringing Marinich with him. But Leger very close to Mike. They're under braking into the corkscrew. And is Mike going to bail to the pit lane this time around? On board with Patrick Leger at the moment. Does Mike bail? Yes, he does. So that'll be Mike Matthews done for race 1 pretty much. He'll come back out, but it's just damage limitations for him now. Leger a little wide. Is this going to allow Ben Ruck to have a look? He's in the slipstream of Leger. Leger goes defensive through turn 1. They go now. And they come down towards turn 2 of Andretti hairpin. There is Leger on that inside line. We saw Gary go round the outside at turn 2 last night. Can Ben Ruck do the same thing? If he gets round the outside, he'll have that nose there for the inside of 3. But can't get it done. Ben Ruck, in fact, he might still have the nose in there, you know, and he has. Gets one up the inside of Patrick Leger. And is he through now? Not quite, in towards turn 4. Leger still there. Vitas waiting in the wings as well. And Leger might still have that inside line, you know, going into turn number 5. He is still there, not quite enough. Ben able to shut the door. And a great move from Ben Ruck. Great bit of racing from the pair of them now. Vitas, though, putting Leger under a little bit of pressure. And they've brought Mezin. And Marinich, Leger sideways. And a hit from Vitas to straighten him up. But that's allowed Marinich to get 3 places because Mezin got caught up and was delayed in that one. And Gillies, your net gold leader, gets past Patrick Leger as well. Then there's Matt Wright, Tom Cardno, Richie Michelle with a heck of a dive up the inside at the exit of the corkscrew. And now Class to keep our eyes on as well. There's Hibbs with McGowan on the back of him. Schmidt has got Vasic with a bit of damage. Here's Sokolov. Ugoni still to pit again. Mike has come out. Not quite last, but 28th place and on the back of DeCourt. And who is that ahead of Mike Matthews? Stop go for Overtaker, speeding in the pit lane. So Overtaker will join Mike once again. And that is Harris just ahead of Mike Matthews. Now, is that Harris for position? No, Harris hasn't yet pitted. So Mike's a lap down to the top 4, but they haven't pitted. An Overtaker who's came out just ahead of Gillies behind Mezin. He's got a stop go to his name as well, so he's pushed them limits a little too hard. Chris saying, lovely to see the respect. That was good racing. It was indeed. And now Vitas got to try and chase down Marinich. Now Gillies on the back of Overtaker. Can he try and get past? Coming in towards turn number 5. Not close enough this time around. What's happening, though, between Richie Michelle and Matt Wright? Matt Wright looking up round the outside of Richie Michelle. And Richie Michelle, a little bit of contact there. There's Hibbs and Class. Class has lost out to the pair of these two. And then Ian McGowan in this train as well. Richie Michelle through on Matt Wright. Now Matt Wright coming under pressure. And a stop-go for Gluak speeding in the pit lane. Matt Wright defends that inside line from Class, who has a look late into the corkscrew. Forces Matt Wright off. Slows immediately down to allow Wright to get back on the circuit and not overtake him, but that's cost him a place to Hibbs and McGowan. The question is, with 4 minutes to go, if Class gets on the back of Hibbs, will Hibbs be so kind second time round? Sokolov is gaining on the back of Vasic, but Matt Wright under immense pressure from Hibbs here then, both with a bit of damage, and Class just a day late, dollar short. And Overtaker has got to serve that stop go next time around. Well, sorry, within 2 laps. Ben Ruck, fastest man on the circuit. And who was your... Pletisek was the race leader. He's lost out to Manavola by 1.6 seconds. He comes into the pits. So Manavola, so Pletisek made a mistake here. Are we going to be on for a Nissan race win? I haven't seen that since Spa race 1 a few seasons ago. But is this now going to be Mackenzie's chance to get a race win here? We'll wait and see. But what a start to this race already early doors at Watkins Laguna Seca. Mezin gaining on Vitas, just coming up towards the corkscrew. There you go. Gillies losing out to Overtaker a little bit. He's got Leger gaining on him. Matt Wright very wide out the left hander. That's going to allow Hibbs through. That's going to allow McGowan through. Shouldn't allow Class to get through. Class a little further back. Schmidt, who has a look on Class though at the corkscrew and couldn't get the move done there. So Matt Wright now loses 2 places. Gluak in for his stop-go penalty. And where's Mike Matthews? He's now up to 27th place. Should get 23rd because Ugoni's got to pit. And Class now having a look to the outside line. It will be the inside for the final corner. And here comes Schmidt as well. Can Matt Wright hold it strong around the outside? Class looking up the inside. Schmidt tried to cut underneath and get both of them. Pletisek in the pits. Overtaker in for his stop-go. Class should be ahead of Matt Wright here. He's got ahead of Matt Wright, but Wright is still there on the outside line. Pletisek has dropped right down the order behind all of these, and Matt Wright can't do anything about it. Schmidt's going to have a look up the inside of Matt Wright through Andretti hairpin of turn 2. Can he get past as well? Good evening to Gary Claubel tonight as well. Chris, I am on my own. Jamahl is possibly joining me tonight, not sure yet. So I am on my own tonight, so you'll have to bear with me if I go quiet for a moment or two, just while I take a drink. But Schmidt now ahead of Matt Wright. Pletisek down in 20th, and Overtaker falling even further down the order. He is away, not off his limiter yet, so will Mike Matthews get through? Yes, he will. So that's 26th for Mike. Sokolov looking on the back of Matt right now. What's happening further forward? Mezin, fastest lap, within 2/10 of Vitas. Ben Ruck is on the back of Comor. Manavola's gone for another lap. So is Messino and Harris. And there will be 1 lap left after this. But these guys have got to get into that. Well, there should be 1 lap left after this, provided they cross that start line. That'll be disastrous if they don't. Or have they played it strategic in this one? Let's find out. Here's Ben Ruck gaining on the back of Comor. Vitas trying to fend off that of Mezin. In towards turn 1. Mezin gets very close to the boot lid of Vitas there. Nearly giving him a bit of contact, but nicely done from the pair of them. Now McGowan side by side with Schmidt, and Schmidt goes through. Class is within 1.5 seconds of Hibbs again here, but with this lap and 1 more to go, will Hibbs fend him off? Ugoni's into the pits. Will Hibbs fend him off to close that gap in the championship even closer? That's going to be the big question here tonight, because Hibbs is starting to work his way back into this Gold Championship, and he'd love to take it, I'm sure. Obviously great for Greasy Bandits as a team as well to be 1 and 3 in the championship standings. The front 3 are in. Where's Mackenzie? Just coming through the corkscrew now, in through the left-hander after. And this is where it's going to get a little more interesting in this race. Can that of Mackenzie jump ahead into the lead? Because he'll lead this race if he does, and he will. Because there's Manavola, so he leads the race. Comor now up into 2nd and Ben Ruck 3rd. And they're all within a second of each other going on to the final lap. There's Marinic Where's Manavola? Only just out the pit lane. That was Ugoni who was leaving the pit lane just a second ago. So Manavola now dropping down the order. Vitas has got through. So has Mezin. Gilly's not quite yet as Patrick Leger gets closer to the back of him. Further forward. Where's Messino? He's lost out all the way down to Schmidt. And Ian McGowan possibly. No, we'll stay ahead of Ian McGowan. So good stuff there. Harris onto the grass a little bit. There's Sokolov. Let's go back to the front, though. What's happening between Comore and McKenzie and Ben Rook? Well, Rook is closer to Comore than Comore is to McKenzie. The problem is, running out of time is Ben Rook in this race to get that second position. Couple of corners left to go. Oh, McKenzie's made a mistake through the corkscrew. He's gone a little deep and he's round. McKenzie's around on the final lap of the race. The Nissan was in for its first win for a few seasons. And it could now go to its Japanese comrade of the Honda. And Comore, who bore in a mistake here. The 64's got a yellow flag. That's Ian McGowan as Comore rounds the final corner. Easy as she goes. And Comore and the Honda take what looked like an unlikely victory, but Comore wins from Ben Rook. Marinich P3, Vitas will be P4, then it will be that of Mezin in P5. Manavola wins in gold for P6, McKenzie 7th from Leger, Gilly 2nd in gold, Tom Cordo on the podium in gold as well from Richie Michel. Hibbs did stay ahead of class at the end by 4/10. Schmidt was 14th, Messino 15th, Sokolov 16th, Pletasek in 17th, Gleason, Harris, Matt Wright, who's had a moment out the final corner then. To Harris up to 19th. We're waiting for Matt Wright to come through in 20th. There he is. Ian McGowan will be 21st. Paul Nissan says Chris. Paul Nissan indeed. Benny Varga 22nd. Krista Court will be 23rd. Ugoni's finished in 28th. Gluak will be 29th. Krista Court and 23rd. Vasic on his pro debut. He's going to come home for 24th. Mike Matthews nearly got him for 25th. Overtaker 26th. Good evening to Craig Stothard in the chat. Rob Smith 27th. And as we just await for glue out there, Gillies, can't just throw your car at someone because it's the last corner. Not sure what that's about there. So I'm sure we'll see that one in the steward's room. Right, we'll take a very, very swift break and we'll be back in a couple of moments. Don't go anywhere.
You're still live, Matt. I can hear tapping.
Which one of us is the penis, or both of us?
Oh,
No,
as
but
soon as I hit my brakes, I thought,
I basically did everything else possible. I came out of the pits behind Gillies.
And we are back for the start of qualifying. The drivers have just come round to do their first flying laps of the race. Apologies for any technical issues you heard during the mid-break session. I've gone into chat with Mike and Mathew. I say chat, more like take the Michael out of Mike, if you will. So apologies if you heard anything there. Trying to input the results and do the Streamlabs and everything else in one go on your own is a little more difficult than what it is when you've got someone else who can chat to you and input the other results. But we're on board currently with Hibbs, who is in his qualifying session at the moment, coming up towards the left-hander. Brakes, watch that sausage curb there, hardest corner on the circuit. Up and over the crest he goes. You're going to see that corkscrew just start to become visible over this crest here as you brake going up the hill. Again, bit of a blind entry into the braking zone. Dips nicely through the corkscrew. It does drop away from you even further mid-corner, so you kind of bottom out a little bit as you take off and land through the corkscrew into the penultimate corner now again. Watch out for all the sausage curbs on the inside. And into this last corner, how late dare you brake into this one and get it just nice. It's all about getting that power down as soon as you can out the final corner. And Hibbs is about to cross the line and set his first flying lap. Remember, the gold drivers are out in qualifying so far, and Ugoni and Comor will have to serve that qualifying ban, so they cannot come out on track. Ugoni is in the pit, so he would have served his qualifying ban, and we have got 16 minutes left. Class currently on pole position though in this gold category at the moment. Who's coming to the final corner? It is Matt Wright who'll be coming to the final corner. Apologies for the extra delay in the sound quality as well. We are trying to go to the display capture from the PlayStation to the Streamlabs so that it will be fully live, and once we do that we'll be even better than normal as well. As here comes Rob Smith to finish his qualifying. Vasic to finish his first flying lap, should we say, comes across the line now. The 199 of DeCourt exits the final corner. We've got the 48 of Gillies just ahead of him, just behind him, sorry, who's about to do his first flying lap. Where will this put Gillies? Good result for Gillies in race number 1. And he goes up to 11th place at the moment. 1.3 separating the top gold drivers so far. Not too bad. Not every gold driver set a time though. Cardno, Manavola and Messino didn't get a lap time on the board. Hibbs will be the next man to put a lap time in again. And don't forget, if you would like to get involved with anything here at SimPlay Motorsport, especially if it is a... whether it's stewarding, commentating or anything else, just join the Discord, drop myself or Mike or Matt Wright a message and one of the admins will sort that out for you. As we'll see Harris come towards the line now. Also, if you want to get on board with the Patreon, you can do so. Patreon support is available for everybody. £3 a month. You get to reserve a driver number, priority access to sign-ups and events that we put on, track suggestion towards future seasons. The pre-season promo images we will work on. Obviously, that was Dan Davis who did that, and also share to any social media links. We'll work on the pre-season promo images. But also we have our sponsorships within inside the SimPlay Motorsport channel. In which, if you want to become a sponsor, there's the email of sponsorship at simplaymotorsport.com. Get in touch with us and we'll get back to you with the packages that we provide. Obviously, like Big Apple Logistics, our pro sponsor, who sponsor the pro category for the season. And there's many more opportunities and offers that you can do across the board for the championships that we provide and will provide for the future. As here we see Hibbs towards the line again. He's got Richie Michelle just behind him. Class still on pole position at the moment. The 199 of DeCourt yellow flag. He has got time to go to the pits and come back out. Here comes Hibbs, moves up to P5. Richie Michelle stays second. What does Class do? He stays first and improves a little bit more now, putting more than a second to Vasic in ninth. Cardno now up into second place. Heck of a lap from Tom Cardno there. Looks on form at the moment. Today, podium in race 1. Good qualifying session so far. Ugoni, the only gold driver who cannot qualify. Remember, he's on a ban, so is Comor as Matt Wright moves up into P8. The 28 now of Messino towards the line before the 566. Messino moves up to 10th. What can Benny Varga do then? As we're then about to see Gluhak come to the line. Benny Varga improved but stay 12th. Gluhak up into 11th. The 177 of Rob Smith. 1.4 off the back, and the 381 there of Vasic. 1.1 off the back of the pole time. Couple of drivers on outlaps. Gillies is one of them. As is that of DeCourt. It looks like the 199 who would return to the pit lane and come back out. Remember, the Platinum drivers can line up at the end of the pit lane just before the 10-minute marker, so they've got their chance to get to the bottom of the pits. As we say good evening, good afternoon, good evening to John Goudet in the chat. Welcome in, John. Just in time to see Hibbs round the final corner. One of the Greasy Bandits drivers. Towards the line he goes now. Can Hibbs find an improvement on his time? Stays P6. Richie Michelle now tops the timing screen. What about Class? Goes right back to the top of the timing tower. Can Tom Cordno now improve as well in the Cloud9 racing car? No, he can't. No improvement for him. What about Michael Harris? Finds an improvement up into 4th. It's now a second separating the top 5 in this session. Or the top 7, should I say, in this session. Here comes Manavola. Stays in P7. The 135 of Matt Wright. What can he do? Not a lot there. Gleeson, does he improve? No, he does not. We turn our attention now to the 28 of Messino. Any improvement for him? No, stays P10. Benny Varga right up into 8th. Good lap from Benny Varga, that. He'll be pleased with that one. The 117 of Rob Smith. He moves up into 14th with Adavasic going up into 6th. Gillies down in 11th. He'll be disappointed with his qualifying so far. And I just want to try and get that little bit closer to that pole time. 1.2 off the pole. Rob Smith is done for qualifying. Gillies moves up to 11th place. What about DeCourt? 1.7 off the gold pole time at the moment. Can he find an improvement? He can, and goes ahead of Rob Smith. Now Hibbs down in 7th, a second off of his teammate Class. Has he found any more time in the car on this lap? And he will get maybe even 2 more runs here for Hibbs. We'll wait and see. Moves up to 4th. Richie Michelle doesn't improve. What does Class do? Can he find any more time? A 21.9. Heck of a lap. Doesn't improve this time, though. What about Thomas Cardno? Has he found any more? No, he doesn't. Michael Harris. Has he got any more in the tank? No. So all the tyres not allowing the drivers to improve here. Have they just done one too many laps at their peak at their best performances? Well, Manavola's haven't, because he's just moved up to P5. Matt Wright goes up into P9. The 54 of Gleeson moves up a spot. Here comes Messino. Before that of Benny Varga. Messino up to 11th. Benny Varga finds a 10th. He's within a second. Doesn't find anything there. The 985 of Gluak. What can he do? Up into 13th place. The 381 of Basic. Into P8, goes within a second now. We turn our attention back to Gillies as John says, come on Hibbs, come on the Hibbs, and Class in chat. Currently 1 and 4, going well for the Greasy Bandits racing cars tonight. And Hibbs will get into championship points on the formation lap, but Hibbs has closed the gap to the front 2 in that one as well, as Gillies improves slightly but stays P12. DeCourt now to the line. Can he find an improvement? No, he can't. So Hibbs has invalidated his lap. That'll be Hibbs done for qualifying. He could have got 1 more lap in. Maybe, actually. I think he may have got 1 more lap in. And Richie Michelle will get 1 more lap in. Crosses the line with 10.01 to go. So he will get 1 more lap in. Cordno is done. Who's the car coming to the line? It is the 34 of Harris. Can Michael Harris get 1 more lap in? So Richie Michelle will be the last man in qualifying. Harris goes up into P3. So improves on his final run in qualifying, knocking Cordno and Hibbs down a spot. Manavola, is he still out there on a lap? No, he's not. So this is now Messino. Couple of tenths will put him inside that top 10, if not into the top 8. What does Messino have in the tank here? Does he improve? He does. Goes into 9th place. Vasic. Can he find any more time? As Chris says, love the queue in the pits. Always makes me giggle. And the flurry of cars that comes out of it as Vasic stays P8. Gillies. Has he found any more in this session? 1.2 off the gold pole position. That is so far the extra point for Class that he'd love to take in this championship fight over Hibbs and Harris. Can Gillies interrupt the party? No, goes P8. What does DeCourt do now then? And Richie Michelle, don't forget, he's still out there. And only 3.5 tenths he needs to find as DeCourt stays 14th place. Has Richie Michelle found that 3.5 tenths to take pole position? Will jump on board Vitas. He'll be the first platinum driver to start qualifying. Here comes Richie Michelle to the line and doesn't improve at all. So Vitas starts his qualifying, but we can add that point now to Class for pole position. And we can run you through the championship points. So Class is now on 331.5. Michael Harris on 314.5, so some 16 points behind. Hibbs is on 284. So he's only 54 points behind in this championship. He pulled 3 back, obviously, because that pole position now, it's only 2 points that he's pulled back over Class, but he pulled 16 back over Harris. So Hibbs is still in this one. Messino is P4. Gained over Harris, but not Class. DeCourt is P5, so good for DeCourt at the moment. Richie Michelle is 6th. Gilly 7th. Cardno is 8th. Really tight from Messino in 4th down. Really, really tight at the moment. Cardno is 8th. Varga's up to 9th from Gleason 10th. Matt Wright's now 11th. Then it's Manavola, Maiga, Ugoni, Vasic, Jimenez, Langley, Van der Ven, Wainwright, Rob Smith, Ramsell, and then Gluhak as we're on board with Vitas in this qualifying session. About to finish his first flying lap. The 188 is... sorry, is that the 188? No, it's the 108 of Platasek, who is coming to the line. No Langley tonight due to the fact he's lost internet connection, sadly, tonight. So he will not be taking part in tonight's race, unfortunately for him. And Vitas to the line. No lap time set. What about Platasek now then? Where will he go? He moves 15th at the moment, but these are their first lap times. Ben Ruck, we'll see where he goes in a moment. The 101's about to do a lap time. Who's that coming through? We'll go to the 77. Patrick Legier's about to put a lap time in. Sokolov went P12. Here comes Overtaker. What can he do? He's just going to be ahead of Mike Matthews, 1.7 off the pace, but it's first lap at the moment. Mike Matthews goes up into 16th place, the 110 of Marinich. Comore is also in the pits. That's Ugoni qualifying ban served, and Comore as well. The 64 of Ian McGowan crosses the line now. Mezin's on an invalid lap time, so we'll come back to him. The 26 of McKenzie. Heartbreaking stuff for McKenzie at the end of that first race. There's... Benedict Varga, wow, I'm actually kind of fast this time. And yeah, good qualifying. You're seeing the Pro-Am champs start to get quicker every week. Well done, Betty, says Chris. How are the tyres been with the higher track temps? Well, what we saw last night, they are tough. The drivers, I think, are going to need to change tyres in this race tonight. It is warm out there. It's 35 now, and the race is in another 2 hours' time. As here comes Mackenzie. Vitas yet to set a lap time, so he's about to come to the line. Schmidt also on an invalid one at the moment. So here comes Vitas. We'll then jump up to Platasek in a moment. Vitas, who looked pretty quick in the first race, moves up to P12 at the moment. Here comes Platasek towards the line. Is he going to improve? He does, all the way up to P8. Ben Ruck, does he go to the top of the timing tower? No, doesn't that time. We're going to jump on board with the 77 of Overtaker. Couple of cars in front, couldn't quite see the number. Patrick Leger was one of them, as was the 101 of Sokolov. Here comes Overtaker then. Does he get to the line? He does, and goes up into P10. Patrick Leger went 5th place there. There goes Mike Matthews across the line up to 21st. And Mezin next time at the moment for a man on a lap. Before we jump back over to Mackenzie. Here comes Mezin across the line now. Shoots up the order. And in fact puts it on pole position for the Platinum category and overall as well. So a good lap there from Mezin. It just shows how good Class and Richie Michelle's lap was. They both had pace in the practice session, so don't be surprised to see Class and Richie Michelle up the order. As here comes Mackenzie now, down in 23rd, only 1.3 off the pole, so a couple of tenths. Finds himself within that 1 second margin. Should have probably won race 1, but spun at the corkscrew. Up into P8 he goes. What can Vitas do now? Schmidt yet to get a lap time on the board as well. Keep your eyes on Vitas though. Vitas jumps up the order, up into 16th. Schmidt goes up into P5. We're going to jump on board with a 14 of Ben Ruck. Can Ben Ruck get to the line and set a quicker lap time? No, stays 4th. The 101 now of Sokolov, who's just set a lap time better. And we'll go to Mike Matthews, next man on a valid lap. As he comes through the final corner. Towards the line he comes now. Has Mike Matthews got it in the tank to move up? He does, into 17th. The 110 of Marinich next up. What can he do? To the line he goes, and he improves up the order. Are you McGowan now? Does he find time? Yes, he does. P20 he goes. Mezin, can he extend that pole time? Yes, he can by 2 more tenths. So a good lap from Mezin. There is Mackenzie, who has to cut the corkscrew chicane. That's going to be an invalid lap time. And we turn our attention back to Vitas, down in 19th place. Can he find that improvement in this session? No, he's gone slow, so he's bailed on that lap. Here comes Schmidt in qualifying now. 8 tenths off the pole. Trying to get back into this championship fight with Radic and Ben. It's probably be Radic's drop score with him not being here this week. So he'll gain some points back. Here comes Schmidt towards the line. Crosses it now, stays 6th. What about Ben Ruck now towards the line? Goes up into 3rd, just ahead of Richie Michel. Sokolov will be next. Can he move up the order? He can. Moves up into P5. Putting a couple more cars between Harris and Class now in this qualifying. Patrick Leger doesn't improve this time around. What about Overtaker down in 15th? Jumps up to 9th place. Good lap from Overtaker there. Ian McGowan, last of the Platinum qualifiers. Obviously with Comore on that qualifying ban. Can he find an improvement? That's going to be the biggest question. To the line comes McGowan now, and he stays P20. Can Mezin extend out front in this session? No, he cannot. And we await for Mackenzie, who's down in 11th at the moment. So at the moment, it's Pole in gold alongside Pole in platinum. Good evening, Franco there. Increase your brake ducts is what he's saying to Benny Varga. And come on, Patty, says Fury's granddad. Welcome in, Tony. Plataman is in P8 at the moment. And Mackenzie, is that bailed to start another hot lap? It looked like it was, so I don't think that's going to be an improvement. We'll stay with him just for the time being in case. I don't think it will be an improvement. It looked pretty slow, yeah, and indeed it was. The 108 of Pletisek just behind Vitas on the next run. So here comes Vitas in 19th place. Pletisek is now down because Vitas moves up to 12th. What can Ben Ruck do towards the line? Does he improve? Finds nothing there. Let's go back down to the number 9 of Patrick Leger. Keep your eyes on the 101 of Sokolov. I couldn't quite see the number. He's not improved from 5th place either as Patrick Leger now moves up into 6th position. We turn our attention back to Mike Matthews once again. 18th place at the moment for Mike. The 110 will be next of Marinich. Can Mike find just a couple of tenths? 3 tenths puts him in the top 5 here for Mike Matthews. And he doesn't find anything. What about Marinich? Stays in P15. Ian McGowan, does he go up the order? No, as Mezin drives into the pits. So these are the last laps for everybody then. So one more chance to get a good lap time on the board. And remember, if you haven't done so already, please hit that thumbs up button and the bell to be notified, as well as hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. And like what you see here, we are 20 subscribers away from that 1,200 mark. So it will be another milestone at SimPlay Motorsport. The 101 of Sokolov has returned to the pit lane, but here comes Mackenzie. Might get one more lap in here, you know, Mackenzie. And Vitas might as well. So let's wait and see what happens. It's actually 1 second to the top 19, Chris, with Mike just being over that second mark. Can Vitas get another lap in? Easy for Vitas to get another lap in. What about Pletisek? He will as well. And then is that Ben Ruck? No, Ben Ruck is done. He's in the pit lane. Schmidt will get one more run in. The next one is 77 as Schmidt goes up into 4th. Crazy quali. Wasn't this tight since the opening round? Indeed, it wasn't. So Overtaker then will be the first man to finish qualifying. Mezin has come out of the pit lane. Not sure why. Maybe a few tweaks to his car. Overtaker up to 9th. He finishes his qualifying. Mike needs just a couple of tenths to move up the order in this session. And does he find it? No, stays 19th. What about Marinich? He moves up the order. We'll find out where he's gone. Marinich up to 6th. McGowan stays in P18. And we turn our attention back to Mackenzie once again. Again, for Mackenzie, 3 tenths of a second for Mackenzie. He sits in P5. In what has been an absolutely crazy qualifying session here at Laguna Seca. Very tight field. Less than 2 seconds separating the entire field here. And here comes Mackenzie. Vitas still on a lap as well. These two are separated by 2 thousandths of a second at Cherry Moor. Hot track, hot lap times out there tonight. Crazy, he says, and Langley in the chat. Evening All Internet has decided to die on me tonight. Shame for Langley there, as Mackenzie doesn't find an improvement. Can Vitas improve from 13th? He can. He goes 12th. Can Schmidt improve on P4? He can. He goes onto the front row of the grid, so goes ahead of his championship rival of Ben Ruck. This was Mezin coming out the pit, so that will be qualifying done. The BMW of Mezin will take pole position here. And what a time to do so for the young man in the BMW. Mezin on pole. And that Platinum Championship, by the way, Ben Ruck leads 519.5 to Schmidt's 425. Vitas is up to third on 412.5 with Radic fourth on 409. But the drop scores get calculated at the end of the night when the whole racing is done. So that is why Radic has dropped down quite a bit at the moment. That will all change when the drop scores are done. I won't say them on air, obviously. A lot of work to do solo. I've got to get the interviews done. I'll try and do them during the interviews, but we'll see what happens. Leger's P5, Marinich 6th, Mezin 7th, Mackenzie 8th, Comore 9th, McGowan 10th, Overtakers 11th, and it's Milliston, Sokolov, Matthews, Pletasek, Kane, Skunky and Cosme in the Platinum category. The Teams Championship is BAL Racing over 100 points clear now of Racing Soft, but again, drop scores to come into play. Balkan Sim will be down to third, Balkan Esports a fourth, Greasy Bandits Racing a fifth. They're only 60 points off the Balkan Esports, so keep your eyes on that battle for fourth and fifth. Cloud9 a P6 from Balkan OZ Racing, Sleepy Lizard Repsol Racing a P8, SimPlay Racing a ninth from the Flying Dutchman. The Casuals, Team KSC, Squadra Corsa, Quantum Motorsport, Team Richie's Corsa, Momentum Motorsport, Only Momentum, NS Spinners, Momentum PR Team, Bearded Racing and MMS at the bottom. Right, let's get a poll out for who you think will win in tonight's race. In fact, Langley, if you're there, are you able to do the polls? You'll be able to do the polls for me tonight. That'll save me a job as I can run through the grid order. Mezin from Schmidt on your front row. Row 2 is Class and Ben Ruck. Class, your gold pole sitter. Row 3 is Richie Michel from Marinich. Sokolov from Patrick. Leger Harris from Overtaker. Cordno alongside Vitas with Mackenzie alongside Hibbs. Pletasek is then alongside Manavola. Gleason from McGowan with Mike Matthews ahead of Gillies. Vasic will be alongside Messino. Matt Wright will line up with Benny Varga. Gluak alongside Decourt, Rob Smith from Comore and Ugoni at the back on his own. But the qualifying bands for them two at the back of Comore and Ugoni have now been completed and are done. As Franco is saying, a 21.6 in these conditions is nuts. And it is crazy to see the pace here this afternoon. It is so incredible to see this pace in this one this season. It has really been good. I am going to just do a poll in case Langley isn't able to, so let's get one out. So top three as always, and then the fourth option is other. If you do pick other, please do comment who you have selected as that other driver in the race that you think may win this one then. As we get ready to go here for the final time tonight and this week at Laguna Seca. Remember, next week, tennis will be back on Tuesday night for the Who Darren Cup at Snetterton. Bit of mixed weather it looks like next week. A bit of rain around for Snetterton, so that should be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. And then we've also got Pro-Am and Pro, where me and Langley will be back for Pro-Am, and it'll be myself. Unsure whether it'll be solo or with someone else on Thursday night for Pro, so keep your eyes out for that one at Snetterton. And let's see what's going to happen here then in this race. Chris is saying, Ben, in all fairness, Chris, I expected nothing less than that from you, my friend. Nothing less from you. I don't think Ben was saying off air before we went live. I was chatting with Ben a little bit, and he's saying the Lamborghini doesn't like the overly hot track temperatures, and I don't think that's why Ben had the outright pace in race one. I think the track's just a little too hot for Ben, for that Lamborghini, should I say, in this race. Cherry Moore saying, thinking that McLaren of class will carry on the business like Williams last night in Pro. I'd love to see one of the bronze or one of the gold drivers win the race outright. I don't think he's going to have that. I think Ben's going to have class pretty quick. Class has looked really good, but we'll see what happens. John Gooday as well, Hypertech League Racing, saying, come on then guys, let's have a clean start. Well, race one was a bit chaos at the backfield. What will happen in race two as we're about to get ready to go green here for the final time this evening at Laguna Seca, the halfway stage of the season. It's green and go. It's a good start, though, from Class on that second row of the grid. Ben Ruck already tucking in behind. Look at Marinich as well, pulling ahead of Richie Michel, and behind there, 3 wide going into turn 1. Class, though, attacking up the inside of Schmidt. Can he hold it up the inside? Yes, he can. Maybe I'm about to eat my own words, because Class has had a demon start, and there's a spinner of Marinich into the side of Sokolov, who's had a drama there. Marinich was on the grass, but further forward, what is happening between the leaders? It is that of Class, who is doing the business so far in a great start for himself in this race. Has he got, though, the opportunity to take hold of this race win? Can he keep hold of that outright podium? Change the camera angle to a bit more of the TV cameras. Ben's on the back of Schmidt at the moment. Overtaker's there. Not quite there with Patrick Leger. Harris is looking on the back of Vitas as well. Boy, it might not have been. How has he held on to that one? Great, great save from Michael Harris. Coming under pressure, though, now from Thomas Cardno. Can't do anything there. Hibbs looks on Cardno as well as Mackenzie and Manavola side by side through the corkscrew. All nice and clean through. Just out of Rob Smith's actually a fair way back down the order. Oh, and there's dramas at the corkscrew. Who is that? That is Matt Wright, involved with what looked to be Sokolov and Marinich. Marinich with some big damage. And Matt Wright was off there at the corkscrew as well. So dramas on lap 1. Gluak looked like he got caught out in the melee as well. So dramas at the end of the first lap, but Mezin starts to pull the legs over Class, who has the fastest lap of the race, and no surprise with the start he had in this one. But can he fend off Schmidt? That's going to be the biggest question. Jimenez saying, sure enough, top half of gold going up to Platt. Well, it's just going to depend on the numbers, isn't it? As the 101 is slow down the start finish straight. Sokolov must have had another drama coming out the final corner. He's giving a flash of the lights to somebody. Leger trying to get closer to Richie Michel. And here's Pletasek having a look on Gleeson. He's on that inside line into turn 5. That's Ian McGowan looking up the inside of Mike Matthews as well. Great move from McGowan and a great move from Pletasek. It's both gaining a place at turn 5. Pretty much a carbon copied move, that one there. So great to see. Benny Varga has lost out to Como. Como's going to be charging through this field. Watch out for him in this race. Ugoni looking on the back of Matt Wright as well. And there's Rob Smith. There is Sokolov down the bottom end of the field. What's happening further forward, though? Schmidt getting a little bit... Oh, no, he's not. He's actually lost time, it looks like, to Class this time around. And Ben Ruck really close behind him. Patrick Leger has passed out of Richie Michel, and Overtaker looking up the inside of Vitas. Or is that Vitas trying to attack Overtaker? It said Overtaker was ahead at Sector 2, so maybe Vitas attacking the rear of Overtaker here then. Down towards turn 2 of Andretti hairpin they come. Track temp 37 degrees. It is a warm one out there. The warmest track temp it has been all season for these drivers. Here's Vasic moving up from Pro-Am after his 3 race review, and he's fighting with Gillies and Mike Matthews, who's trying to stay on the back of McGowan. Let's have a look at the fuel load. I'm not going to give anything away like we don't normally until the pit stops are done, but a lot of cars on a half fuel load, it looks like. In fact, the majority of the field, they're all pretty similar. So there's no real advantage, mate, really, for any of these drivers. Schmidt now still within that second of Class, but he's got Ben Ruck right behind him. Vitas still putting the pressure on Overtaker. In fact, he's going to have a look coming through the right at the left-hander. Overtaker lets him go there. Did he make a mistake, Overtaker? Went to that one as he was already sort of pulling to the side. So Vitas is through. And now he can head after Richie Michel. Patrick Leger would love to close down on Ben Ruck, Schmidt and Class. Class just losing that time to Mezin now. Mezin could have this one under control already, like that of Sam Williams last night. And Mike's just got a bit closer to Ian McGowan. This is on board with Mike Matthews. As I looked at inside line on Ian McGowan, thinks better of it though, not close enough yet. McGowan just misses the apex a little bit, not too bad. It's not going to hurt him too much. And he actually got the better exit because he kind of checked Mike up a little bit by the fact that because he was that bit wider, he couldn't get the power down as early as Mike. So it meant Mike had to delay instead of going into the back of him. What is happening further forward with Mackenzie? Look at this train of just behind him. Is that Hibbs who Mackenzie has got past? It is indeed. So Cardno further up the road. It's it's Mackenzie, Hibbs, Manavola, Pletasek, Gleeson, and nearly Ian McGowan, who's got Mike Matthews, Gillies, Vasic, DeCourt, Messino, Como on the back of him. Como's charging from the back of the pack already, nearly into the midfield. And he's not far away in this one so far. Schmidt's got closer to Class once again. And the closest fight on circuit is this Pletisek Manavola battle. Gold versus platinum. Remember, points are scored for overall. If you are new, points do get categorised for overall position, not points per category. So this is crucial really in your championship. You are racing every single driver. It doesn't matter if you finish behind a gold driver and you'll still score points for where you finish in that gold or platinum category. Points are always up for position, so this keeps the fighting interesting here. Is that Mackenzie actually there? It is. Pletisek's lost out a couple of places. I just looked away for a moment. In fact, tell you what, let's take a look at what has just happened there. Let's go to a live action replay and I'll be able to see it back myself because I've missed out what's happened to Pletisek. So on to the replay we go, coming through the corkscrew, all nice and fine through there. Did Mackenzie actually lose a couple of places then? Because it was Mackenzie now who's the car ahead of him as Mike Matthews is having a look up the inside of McGowan while McGowan's attacking Gleeson. So we're not going to see... Oh, Mackenzie must have just been on the gravel, must have just gone wide. And that is what happened to Mackenzie, but Pletisek didn't get through. Back to the live action we go then. Mike Matthews really putting pressure on the back of McGowan, who a moment ago was just putting pressure onto Gleeson. And no more is the case at the moment. Manavola now the lead car in this train. Here comes Gleeson having a look on Pletisek. Brave move at this corner, but he can't get it through. Schmidt's fastest man on track. They've pulled away from Ben Ruck a little bit. And this is possibly that problem with the Lamborghini. Just overheating its tyres a little bit more maybe than the other cars. But Ben was saying, like I said off air, he doesn't like it in these kind of temperatures with the Lamborghini. So he might be fighting towards the end. We'll wait and see as Class a little bit wide on exit out of the final corner, and this is now Schmidt in the slipstream. Look at that Honda just get closer, pulls to the outside line now as they come down through turn 1 in towards turn 2 of Andretti hairpin. Schmidt right around the outside, giving Class as little room as he possibly can on the inside line, and Class stays ahead there. Zero Cool in the chat, hello from Croatia and good luck to the drivers. Good evening, Zero Cool in the chat, hope you're well, buddy. And a great fight here so far for P2, but Mezin's running away with this. Richie Michel sticking to the back of Patrick Leger. Vitas is there, and Overtaker's not a million miles behind. There's Hibbs trying to chase down Cardno. Then behind Mackenzie is a gaggle of cars, all the way down to that of Como, nearly even Benny Varga, because they're all within a second of each other, and that is the Ford of Manavola defending from Gleeson at the moment into turn 5. Has Gleeson got the run on the outside line? We know the inside of turn 6. People last night in Pro-Am just bailing on the inside of turn 6 of this corner now. Didn't want to hit that sausage curb. Manavola a little wide on the exit compared to Gleeson, who's managed to pull the car underneath. And as he got the car alongside, he has. Going into the corkscrew. Are they going to get this one done? Onto the helicam we go. Contact between Manavola and Gleeson. Gleeson somehow keeps it pointed in the right direction. Mike has a wiggle in avoidance of Gleeson there. Trying to hold it around the outside. A bit more contact from the pair. And Mike is off. And around he goes. Into the wall. Not too bad in terms of how he's hit the wall, but he's dropping down the field rapidly is Mike Matthews, and he's down behind that of potentially his teammate Matt Wright and Mike Pitt. That is way too early on them tyres for a pit stop, as Vitas is now attacking the back of Richie Michel, and Schmidt has just got past Class with Ben Ruck right behind them. This is on board with Ben Ruck looking at the two in front. Class now, you just see that McLaren sliding through turn number 4, just starting to struggle on its tyres a little bit more then, as Class into that inside of turn 5 fends off Ben Ruck for now. But you're going to think it's a matter of when, not if, for Ben Ruck. Patrick Leger gaining. Vitas still looking on the back of Richie Michel in this race as well. What a start to this one. Been absolutely brilliant. Contact between Class and Schmidt is what Chris was saying in the chat. As here goes Vitas to the outside of Richie Michel. Michel's going to try and outbrake Vitas into the corkscrew. Bit of contact made on the entry. Both cut across the gravel. Here comes Overtaker underneath at the corkscrew. Can he get underneath Vitas at the corner after? No, he can't. Richie Michel over the sausage curb and off he goes. Will that allow Harris through? Yes, it will. And Michel there made his own little mistake. And off he went. Losers not out to Overtaker and Vitas, but also to Michael Harris, as now Mike Mathew drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not as bad as race 1, though, with the stop-go. Even into post in the chat. Great battles all round. Good luck, guys. The corkscrew is screwing again, says Gary Clarble in the chat as well. And what a race this has been so far. Frantic stuff here at Laguna Seca as Ben Rook has now got past class, and that was a spinner. Mike Matthews has returned to the pits, and we don't normally see him retire too often. I think once in 5 years have we seen Mike Matthews retire. Could this be the second time this season, as Patrick Leger had a big wiggle there, and now this is where class is just starting to struggle over the platinum drivers ahead of him. And he has, retired. So Mike Matthews has retired from this race. What a shame there. As Chris is saying, got to give Ben his due. He does have some good patience and waits for others to make the mistakes. Indeed, he does. And now we're watching Pletisek on the back of Mackenzie. Can Mackenzie find a way past them? Let's drop down the order a little bit more. Manivola's got Vasic, De Court, Benny Varga, Komor, Gluhag, Marinic, Ugoni, Messino, Matt Wright, all within a second of each other, right behind Manivola. Crazy battles happening here at Laguna Seca. Sokolov 27th, Rob Smith 28th. That could be a qualifying ban carried over to Snetterton for Mike Matthews there then, as here comes class on the back of Ben Rook, down in towards Andretti Hairpin. Can't get the move done there. And a good start to this race for class. He's got, though, that lead. He's got 3 cars between himself and his closest championship rival. There's Richie Michelle trying to fight with Harris a little bit now. This has brought Cardno, and he's slowly bringing Hibbs into play as well. What's happening with Mackenzie further back? Him and Pletisek going at it. So great to see these two having a little scrap at the moment. So let's see if these two can do anything about each other in this race. Further down the order, De Court's on the back of Vasic. In fact, they're all on the back of Manivola pretty much. So let's see what will happen here between these two. And let's see if they can make the moves on each other. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Vasic and Manivola. Benny Varga's looking to capitalise on De Court, and he has done. Can he try and get through on Vasic here? No, he can't. Vasic having a look, though, on Manivola. They're all coming together here. Vasic has a bit of a twitch, and off he goes. And through goes Benny Varga and De Court. Does Vasic lose out anymore? No, he tries to come back at De Court and taps Benny Varga. Oh, this chaos. Ugoni into the back there as well, who was also off. Was one of the BMWs. Was that Marinic? It was Marinic, who's already got damage. He was also off in this race. Mike Matthews is back out on circuit, so it is not a retirement. And what a shame there, as Pletisek now attacking the rear of Mackenzie. In fact, he's got past Mackenzie. Let's take a look at that replay of what's just happened a moment ago. And into the final corner, Vasic just up the inside, tags Benny Varga, who catches De Court. Ugoni into the back of Vasic, and Marinic has to go onto the gravel to avoid the others in front. So a crazy incident there from the front runners. And what a shame. What a shame for the front few in this race. So Pletisek ahead of Mackenzie. Mackenzie's got McGowan and Gleeson just behind. Been a great start. Mike's got 2 laps left to serve that drive-through penalty. And a great, great race at the moment that has been brought to us at Laguna Seca. The Pro Series hasn't disappointed all season long. It has been fantastic racing every week that has gone by. It has really been brilliant. And you have to say these drivers have put on an absolute expedition. Class is still in this, by the way, with Ben Rook. Leger's not caught him as quick as he'd have wanted to. And Class only half a second off the back. Schmidt just on the grass a little bit there. Richie Michel still with Harris. Cardnose fell into the clutches of Hibbs. And then we've got Mackenzie with McGowan and Gleeson. Further down the order, though, you've got that Sokolov with Ugoni behind him. Varga trying to get past Gluak. Shame for Varga. He just made up a couple of places as well. Komor on the back of Vasic. And Mike, who's 3 laps down, is in for that drive-through penalty. And he goes another lap down as well. Was that Vasic having a look there? No, sorry, it was on Komor. Komor must have had a mistake at some point. He's dropped down the order quite significantly as well. So what a shame for him. Franco in the chat, Mezin in a league of his own. Low, mid 22s consistently. Yeah, he's been brilliant so far. Here comes Komor. Class is doing well. Couple of mistakes, but nothing major, says Chris in the chat. It's been a great race from all of these. Komor stays tucked in behind. Richie Michel still on Harris. Class is right there with Benro. On board with Class. He is right there. Trying to get past here. Can he find a way through, though? Can he get close enough to have a look? Vitas gaining on Patrick Leger. Richie Michel still there with Harris. Gluak on the back of Benny Varga. We've got DeCourt and then Komor, who has got past Vasic now. So Komor is ahead and he's on the back of DeCourt by 0.7 of a second. So it'll be interesting to see what happens through the corkscrew. They go once again. Vitaso getting closer to the back of Patrick Leger. We're 18 minutes into this race. And it has really been a good start to the race as well for these drivers. It's been fantastic to see. Just quietens down a little bit now. Just getting into that mid stage of the race. Just starts to get a little quieter. This man Mezin 8 seconds out in front, absolutely, as Franco has just said in the chat, in a world of his own at the moment. Has been clinical today. Matt Wright's gaining on Messino here. Maybe the closest fight on track at the moment. Yeah, it is. Closest fight on track. Just dipped a wheel in the gravel there, did Matt Wright. So that's not going to help his cause. And we'll see what Matt Wright is able to do in this race going forward. Down in 19th place, Komor and DeCourt. Oh, who's had a spin? That's Ugoni. Who's around and catches DeCourt. And did Komor just have his own moment? He did. So Komor's had his own moment at the corkscrew. Komor and DeCourt have had their own moment. Into the wall they've both gone. That is absolutely crazy. Here in this one. What are we witnessing here? That is mental. That DeCourt has just had that moment. And, yeah, you have to say, just struggled to get that back. Struggling with that Honda around Laguna Seca for some reason. He just cannot seem to get it going in the right way. And, yeah, disappointing. He'll be disappointed with that because he's had good pace today as well as DeCourt. He's had real good pace. Sorry, as Komor. He's had really good pace, but just hasn't been able to put it together. And I'm sure he'll be looking to try and bounce back in at Snetterton next week. Chad in the chat. Very silly rejoin from that Ferrari. Should be punished, surely. It's down to the drivers to tick it, to put it into the stewards. Chad. They're the ones who have to submit the incidents, and the stewards will take a look at that one. As Patrick Leger comes into the pits. Richie Michel a little bit closer now. Class 1.6 behind Ben. So Leger into the pits. But yeah, so it's down to the drivers to submit tickets. But you'd imagine, looking at that rejoin, that yes, it probably would be a penalty there for an unsafe rejoin. Sokolov's on the back of Matt Wright actually now. That might be a little bit of a closer fight. On board with Sokolov. So where are we? 39 minutes in. I think that's an early stop from Patrick Leger. Marinich is in to fix his damage. Ugoni's pitted. Mike's now on the same lap as Ugoni. Might actually be ahead of him. No, he's not. He's on the same lap as him though. So that'll be an interesting one to keep our eyes on with Mike Matthews. Now he's on the same... Although, has he got... No, he's done his pit stop. And Sokolov really getting closer to the back of Matt Wright here. May fancy a move somewhere. Has a look at turn 5. Thinks better of it though. We'll go further forward in a moment because Harris has gained on Overtaker, so has Overtaker made a mistake somewhere. And Hibbs and Pletasek are gaining on the back of Cardno as well. Let's take a look at the Overtaker fight. There is Harris and Richie Michelle just behind him. If we go to Cardno, as the camera pans around again, there is Hibbs and Pletasek. McKenzie still under pressure from McGowan. And Messina actually within a sec has got Matt Wright within a second. Right, he's pulled away a little bit from that of Sokolov. And now Rob Smith trying to get past that of Gluhak. He's got to court with him. Comore 4/10 off the back of Patrick Leger, but Leger has just pitted. Comore still to pit. Sokolov is in. So clearly looking for that undercut is Sokolov. Back to Harris. Richie Michelle looks a lot closer. That's Ben Rook. Ben Rook has made a mistake. He's off. And he's got big damage on the front of his car. He's been in the wall out of turn 4, sorry. And has got big damage on his car. And the championship leader in Platinum has made a mistake all on his own, says Chris. And has dropped to P7 in this one at the moment. Harris still coming under pressure from Richie Michelle. He's also attacking the back of Overtaker in this one. Not a great run for him though out the corkscrew. Hibbs is trying to get on Cardno. Further down the field, we've still got Smith trying to attack Luak. Vasic has got past a court. Comore sticking with Leger. Sokolov now into the pits. Sorry, I said Mike was on the same lap. It was Ugoni on the same lap as Marinich. Mike is 2 laps behind them two. Sokolov's come out the pits but hasn't done his pit stop, so he's going to have to make another one here. And Ben Rook, well, that'll be the story of the night, as here comes Alexis over the Ford Mustang down the start straight. Harris gets closer. Not close enough to have a look into turn 1, though. He has to patiently wait. And as Ben kept going in this race, he's not come into the pits yet as Ben Rook. So is this going to cost him even more time with all that damage to the front end of that Lamborghini? Is this going to cost him even more time here? Well, we'll wait and see. This could put class on the overall podium then. And that'd be absolutely brilliant for class. Overall podium. And then the podium in the gold category for the race win as well. So, not an extra podium for him, but, you know, nice to be on the overall podium. That shows you the pace that class has got going into next season. If he was to return, he'd be, you know, moving up into that platinum category as gold winner, but just then showing he can mix it at the front of the pack with the big boys. And that is what class will be hoping to do next season indeed. He'll be wanting to make that step up and make that jump up into the class. And be competitive as well, which it looks pretty good at the moment for him. Right, Harris within 7/10 of a second. Let's go on board that Lexus. We know how good it can be in a straight line. Down towards turn number 1. At turn 2 they come of Andretti hairpin. Not close enough to Overtaker this time around though to do anything about that. And he will stay behind for the time being. So unfortunately there, he will just have to wait once again to try and get through. A little wiggle on the exit of turn 3. What else is happening down and around? McKenzie gaining on the back of Pletek. He's pulled away from McGowan. McGowan's under pressure now from Gleeson. Cardno is on the back of Rook, and this shows how much time that Ben Rook is now starting to lose, because he's got Cardno gaining on him. So is this Ben just struggling with that damage? And if so, when is he going to decide to come into the pit lane? Because that is going to be huge for his race. And not just his race, but don't forget, while Radic isn't here, Radic will get his drop score points back. But this is where Ben's going to need to, you know, score big points. He got that podium in race 1, he got the P2. But he now needs to get another good result. And the more he stays out on track here, you just fancy him losing more and more time in this race to the drivers around him. He's boxing. Sensible, I think, from Benrook. I think it's a lap too late, but he's into the pits. And we'll see what Benrook can do now. Right, back forward to Harris, who's pulled away a lot from Richie Michel. Out front, though, it's Mezin from Schmidt from Class, who's being caught by Vitas slowly. Harris still not gaining on Overtaker too quick. Hibbs within 9/10 of Cardno at the moment. Further down the field, we've got DeCourt still trying to chase down Vasic. Sokolov and Komor still to pit as well, as Messino and Benrook into the pits.
If you want to see more of this action, go over to SimPlay Motorsport on YouTube. We're live now where the commentary is taking place.
So can Komor here start to just maybe... Sorry, not Komor. Thinking of the wrong driver. Looking at the wrong driver. Platasek, sorry. Just had somebody commenting on my personal YouTube stream with the way we do it on Streamlabs. So if you heard me just chat to them there through the PlayStation mic, apologies. I can see their comments popping up, and I hope they're not popping up on stream for you guys as well. Let me know if you see random comments pop up in the top corner. There's a few more drivers into the pits. Overtaker and Richie Michel and Hibbs all in. So, interesting to see. DeCourt now on the back of Vasic, who's trying to gain on Rob Smith then in this race. And what a day it's been. Oh, that's Rob Smith off. Vasic cuts across the chicane as well. And this could allow DeCourt the chance to get underneath. Coming through the left-hander. No can do there. I believe Rob Smith made his own mistake. But, yeah, interesting to see. Right then, onwards we go. And DeCourt, this is the closest fight on circuit at the moment, DeCourt and Vasic. Everybody else just a couple of seconds between them in this race. And so far so good for Mezin, who's got such a gap out front. Where is Mezin on track? He's at Andretti, putting a lap on Richie Michel and Overtaker. In fact, is that Richie Michel ahead of Overtaker there? So has Overtaker taken tyres over Richie Michel, who Taker stays out the way and allows Mezin through. Mezin obviously not done his stop. He's 11 point. Oh, he's had a big moment there. Overtaker gives him the flash of the lights, and Mezin just had a massive moment on his own. That was absolutely crazy from Mezin. And we're all about to be joined as well by Langley in the commentary box. His internet has just come back on halfway through the second race, unfortunately for him. Cardno into the pits now. But Mezin there nearly had his own moment. Back to the Vasic-DeCourt fight. DeCourt's a little bit further off the back, and DeCourt's going to come into the pit lane then. We'll be able to get Langley in. That'll be able to give me a breather every now and again, without it being so quiet. And we'll chat to him. Obviously, he'll be a bit annoyed with the internet situation where he's not been able to take part in tonight's race. I knew he was looking forward to Laguna Seca. Overtaker messed up his pit entry, said Franco in the chat. So that's why he's been jumped by Richie Michel. So if he's been jumped by Richie Michel, as long as provided Harris has a good pit stop, that'll put Harris ahead of him as well. Tom Cardno has jumped the both of them. No, he hasn't. Tom's just come out the pit lane. Where is Hibbs in regards to Cardno? Hibbs is just there in the background. Looks a little closer, does Hibbs now. So Hibbs just a little bit closer once again. This track is so brutal just to take this calibre of driver over the edge. Lots of crazy moments. Indeed, there has been loads of crazy moments. Schmidt and Harris into the pit. So this could be the time that Harris jumps ahead of Overtaker. This is Overtaker then. On the back of Michelle with Cardno within a second. Hibbs within a second. As Hypertech saying, I love Rob Smith's purple on that Mustang. It's very nice. It is very, very nice. Lovely shade of purple. I still think my favourite car in this pro category, colour scheme wise, has got to be... Oh, that was Vitas just on the grass there. It's no problems from behind though. That is Sokolov, who's a lap down to him. Has got to be the Schmidt and Comore Hondas. Not just because it's a Honda. I just kind of like the colour scheme of it. And if you ask me Pro-Am colour, Team GBR's, Privet's, BMW. Not necessarily Aston. I'm not a big fan of the Aston colour scheme. Not the colour scheme, but more the design. But the BMW one looks absolutely phenomenal. As we go back down towards Cardno, not Cardno, Overtaker, who's now got to try and pass Richie Michelle. There is Harris leaving the pit lane. Harris is ahead of them going into braking of turn 1. He should be ahead of them coming out of this little bit. He's got a shorter run through turn 1, bit tighter but shorter. Has Richie Michelle got alongside Harris? Yes, he has. And up the inside Harris goes. So he jumps Overtaker. Richie Michelle, little wiggle on exit. Harris gets back underneath him though, as they're going to try and look up the inside. Michelle turns across the front of Harris there. And Richie Michelle around and into the wall. Through goes Hibbs and Cardno. And Sokolov hasn't yet pitted. So, yeah, Richie Michelle, shame for him. He was running strong, just didn't leave Harris enough space. Harris was right there, and he just turned across him, and into the wall goes Richie Michelle then. So what a shame for him. Gluhak coming out the pits. That, I believe, is that Mike Matthews. It was Mike Matthews unlapping himself from Gluhak. Where is DeCourt? DeCourt is well up the road in this one. DeCourt on the back of Gillies. Where's Gillies in this race? He is not yet pitted, P6 so far. Going side by side with the Ford Mustang of Rob Smith. So a tasty little battle between a lapped car, two lapped cars, and Gillies then. And who's that just behind these? Is that Mezin? No, that's not Mezin. That is, I think that's Marinich. Oh, big twitch there for Rob Smith. I think that is Marinich, it is, who's having the fight with Rob Smith and then Chris DeCourt. So DeCourt's got to try and let Gillies go. Vasic, Comore, Sokolov into the pits. DeCourt lets Gillies go, but that's allowed Rob Smith and Marinich both through as well. So he loses 2 places in the run. And Overtaker's on the back of Harris now, no longer that of Richie Michelle, but he's on the back of Harris. Cardno still just ahead of Hibbs at the moment. Mezin has done his pit stop and is going to come out well clear of Schmidt, who's only just exited the corkscrew. Mezin's nearly off his limiter. And that is crazy. Manavola may just get ahead of Mezin. Yes, he does. So Mezin will be down to 4th place out the pits. But as he's off the limiter, Schmidt has only just entered the final corner. Back down to this fight, though, between DeCourt. Comore's in this one as well. Comore was ahead of these guys. Must have just come out the pit lane behind them. So Comore at the moment just trying to work his way back through. Remember, he had that qualifying ban, and 2 mistakes have just dropped him down the grid a little bit more. There's Hypertech saying, I'm not going to lie, I love our new colours, the white, blue and green. And Jimenez saying, my colours for next year are going to be popping. Can't wait to see what they look like. Jimenez in that one. Comore will be trying to make up just a couple more places in this race. Hibbs 6/10 off the back now of Cardno, so he's got a little closer. Overtaker's lost out more to Harris, only a couple of tenths. And Mezin 13 seconds clear of Schmidt in this race. But Mezin has got an awful lot of traffic he's about to catch. And some of these are the front runners. Mackenzie stays out. Is Gillies going to decide to box while he's in this dramatic train of lapped cars? No, he's not. What about Manavola? He is going to box. Probably sensible for Manavola, but there's a horrendous queue of traffic in front, which Gillies is right in the middle of. So could this be the time that Schmidt could just gain a little bit over the race leader? Overtakers 8 tenths now behind Harris. Hibbs, though, is a lot closer to Cardno. Coming out the corkscrew into the left-hander. Has he got alongside just enough? No, he hasn't. Too far back to have a look at the moment. Manavola into the pits. That's Harris through. That's Overtake through. Cardno and Hibbs also through. McGowan up to 12th. He'll be. Pletisek will move up one more. They're already on track, just not on my car. Ah, well, there we go then. So let's see what happens further forward in this race. Back to the let's go back to the Hibbs and Cardno fight. Cardno on the podium in race 1 in the gold category. And he's currently running in a net 3rd, depending on where Gillies comes out the pit. He's running in a net 3rd place in this race as well at the moment. Going to get the driver of the day vote up, and I just need to double check the results of where drivers finished in race 1, because I want to try and get a few drivers that had 2 good races. Yeah, I thought he had a good first race as well, and then we will put other, as always, as there you see on your screen now, the calendar for the remainder of the season. Back to the live action. Hibbs hasn't got any closer. Mezin 5 seconds off of Gillies, who's still not pitted. Neither has McKenzie. So the Sleepy Lizard Repsol Racing team are actually 1-2 at the moment in this race. Comall, Rob Smith still chasing down Decor. So we'll see what they can do. There's Ben Rook, 15th place for Ben Rook. Maybe 13th. He's only 1.2 off Richie Michelle. So we'll have to see what Rook can do in this one. But it's not looking likely for a good result for Ben Rook here. Overtaker's just closed in a little bit on Harris. So he's just got a little bit closer once more. As up the hill they come. Overtaker going to pull to the outside. He's tapped the back of Harris. And Harris slides across the corkscrew. Manages to lose out to Overtaker and possibly Thomas Cardno. I think we're going to have to get a replay of that. That looked crazy. Hopefully I've just pressed the button correct in time. We did indeed. So this is on board. This is the view we've just had. Michael Harris coming up through the corkscrew then. Now, was Overtaker alongside, or did he just kind of get it wrong? Just got it wrong. Looks like from there. Did Harris close the door is the only other thing you could say. And Harris then, off he goes. Still on the net podium and ahead of Hibbs. But he's lost now 2 more places, and that's crucial in his championship to class in this race. Hibbs would love to get past Harris just to then be that little bit closer. Leger has jumped Class through the pit stops. Didn't see that one, so Leger got ahead of Class. So that puts Class down another place in this race. Actually, it doesn't. Keeps him technically a net P4 because Ben Rook isn't there now. Leger now onto the net podium. Mezin within 2 seconds of Gillies. Gillies actually coming under pressure. It is very difficult to judge from that angle, Franco, indeed. As Gillies coming under pressure from DeCourt now. Gillies going really long in this race, as is McKenzie. And them two have still got to pit in this one. But Harris now will not want to lose any more places to Hibbs. Ben Rook already on the back of Richie Michelle. He's going to try and have a look, surely, towards that final corner. Maybe down in towards the Andretti hairpin. No can do at the moment. Is this where Ben's going to have a look, or is he going to set him up into Andretti? Gets very, very close under braking. Does he get the exit? Tries to tuck underneath Richie Michelle. I think Michelle got the better exit. Richie's got a bit of damage on the front. Little twitch there from Richie Michelle. Ben sticks that inside line. Ben, through turn 1 he goes. Swoops underneath Richie Michelle. Ben moves up to 14th. He's got 4.6 seconds to close to Pletisek in 20 minutes. Clauble says the corkscrew, love to hate it. Says that, sorry, not Clauble, Cherry Moore. Hibbs now on the back of Harris. Overtaker as well, just ahead of Thomas Cardno. There's Mezin right on the back now of, well, De Court, because Gillies has just come into the pit lane. And is Cardno putting Overtaker under some pressure? Cardno trying to bring himself back in this championship late on in the season here. That'd be brilliant for him. And behind Cardno, Harris within a second, Hibbs within a second, McGowan within a second. So let's keep our eyes on that fight. De Court and Comore going at it. They've just been lapped by Mezin. Rob Smith coming under pressure from Vasic. We have lost a driver from this race. And that driver, it's not Comore. It is. Let's try and find out who it is. Mike Matthews was 2 laps down. It is Sokolov who was retired from this race. And it is not 3/4 distance. There will be no points for Sokolov in this one. We'll see what happens in the steward's room about that. Obviously, the retirement ban brings retirements bring in them quali bans. How did we find the F1? Again, great first half, poor second half as Classes pulled back 2 seconds nearly to Patrick Leger. Classes holding his own. Sokolov left, says Franco. Thank you very much. So Class just trying to come on Leger a little bit here and just maybe start to put him under a little bit of pressure then in this race. I'm enjoying the first quarter of the new F1 Clarbel, and then just from there it's just poor. But I'm only enjoying the first quarter because of Mercedes and Ferrari. When that's all finished, it's poor. It's really poor. Mackenzie in the pits, so Leger onto the podium, Class up into P4, but he's really close to the back of Leger. Is he going to get any closer into turn 2, of Andretti here? But he's going to try and look around the outside. Leger hugs that inside line. The Class can't do anything about that. This is bringing Vitas into this fight as well. Cardno has passed Overtaker. In fact, so has Harris, so has Hibbs. And Ian McGowan looks to be getting a run on Overtaker, then down in towards the final corner. An Overtaker around the outside of Hibbs there, so Hibbs very slow. So that puts Harris up another place. That's 2 cars between himself and Class now. And now McGowan coming under pressure from that of Platisek. Mackenzie's come out just a bit further behind. Ben Rook got ahead of Mackenzie and that of Gillies. So that puts Rook up to 12th. And he's nearly on the back of this train as well. But Class, how much does he want to risk here? Yes, he'd love an outright podium, but he is leading gold. How much does he want to risk with Patrick Leger in this one? Because the more he risks, you just feel like he's putting himself in that danger of maybe having an incident, maybe making a mistake. And that could drop him behind Hibbs and Harris. And he's not going to want to lose points to them two in this second race. Chris has said it's been a poor start with all the non-starters and DNF from some major problems to overcome. And it is, Cherrymore, it is embarrassing of what is happening to Aston Martin. I hope Langus is going to join me. I could do with a drink at the moment. Gluak into the pits. Mike is only now a lap behind Gluak in this race. De Court still chasing down Comore. Messino chasing down Gillies. Mackenzie chasing down Ben Rook, although Rook did just pass him. McGowan has been passed by Platisek, who's now on the back of Hibbs. So Hibbs won't want to lose this place here at the moment. Jimenez saying Aston is having fun with its good vibrations. Oh dear. The Aston Martin will retire Fernando Alonso. I said it after testing, after free practice, sorry, it's Australia. I'll say it now. It will retire Fernando Alonso. So let's see what is going to happen in the rest of this race. Mike wants to know the fastest lap, I assume. That's optimistic, I think, Mike. But the fastest lap is a 22.342. As Class had a look there, nearly made contact with the sausage curb as well, as he's having a look on the back of Leger. Seems like Leger's undercut won't pay off. His tyres are already fading. I agree. I thought he pitted 10 minutes too early in this race. And he's going to have to hold on for 16 more minutes over Class. The problem again, though, is how much does Class risk in this one? Alonso will go to IndyCars. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. And if he does, I don't think he's now good enough to do the Triple Crown. I think his body is going to take its toll in this Aston Martin. And I think it's going to punish him even more. And I think because of his age, it's going to show a bit more in terms of then the car. I mean, look, if his hands was doing that already, you know, that's just doing damage to his car as Class wiggling all over the back of Patrick Leger. This has now brought Vitas right onto the back of this here. Class tries to go underneath Leger. Leger defends late within the limit, just within the limit. And Vitas was then having a look all over the back of Class, and Leger's tyres have definitely dropped off a cliff here. Cherry Moore says the Le Mans Dream Team is coming. Fernando, Max and Seb. That'd be brilliant. I'd love to see that. Because Max won't be in F1 at the end of this season either. He'll call it a day in F1, I think. Class has just got to be careful in this race. He's just got to be careful. Leger dropping a wheel onto the gravel. Mike Matthews into the pits. That's probably for a fresh set of boots. And the chance to go for that fastest lap. I love the optimism from Mike. You've got to adore the optimism, but we'll see what he can do in this one. Class now to the outside line, down towards through turn 1 they go now, down towards Andretti, hairpin of turn 2. Class pulls out, brakes later, swoops round the outside, leaves Leger as little room as possible. Has he got the move done? Leger gets the power out the corner, manages to just stay ahead of Class. Has Class still got the nose in there for turn 3? Yes, he has, and he'll have the nose there for turn 4. Leger gives him the room. Vitas waiting in the wings as well. Here comes Class at turn 4. Through they all go, nice and clean. Great bit of racing. This has put Vitas on the inside of Class, coming in towards turn 5. Leger just in front. Has Class got round the outside now? Still side by side together. Poor run from Class. That's put Vitas now on the inside, coming up to the dreaded turn 6. Does Vitas bail? No, he doesn't. And Class loses a place. Maybe that was tucked back underneath Vitas. As they climb up towards the corkscrew, Class is back in front and breaking into the corkscrew they go. Class back ahead of Vitas. Good afternoon to Gray Langley in the commentary box. I've heard him join. And Class there. A phenomenal bit of racing by the three of them. Langers, the disappointment I can only imagine for you right now. But what a race we're seeing here at Laguna Seca.
I was going to ask, how's it been so far? I joined at just the right time. Seems like a great pack taking shape. And how's the action been compared to last night?
Fantastic. It's been non-stop all race through. A little bit of a lull in that middle section, as we know, but it's been incredible. And what a three-way fight that was. Pletasek gaining on the back of Hibbs. Ben Rook is with him. Rook's got past McGowan up to 11th place. Gillies is gaining on the back of Manavola. In fact, he's having a look towards the penultimate corner. Can't do anything about it. We will go back to that three-way fight at the front in a moment. As beautiful racing, says Chris. Incredible, says Cherry Moore. Amazing racing by these three, says John Goday. And yes, Class, says Tech Leader. And it has been phenomenal out front. And Vitas just dropped off the back of Class and Leger, but Leger's tyres, Langley, have dropped off a cliff. Pitted 10 minutes too early.
10 minutes too early, and with these hotter temperatures, the Ferrari is a car that's harder on its tires. Looking down the field, looking at Manavola and Gillies right now. Gillies all over the back of Manavola into turn 3 and going up to turn 4. A great pack I see up there. Like you said, and Leger's been under some quite a bit of pressure now from Class. Could Class get not only the Class win, pun intended, but a podium in this one? Would be an incredible result.
Indeed it would, but I've just been saying to the chat, Langers, he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to risk anything with Harris in 6th. That's his closest championship rival. And the more he risks in this fight, could that allow Harris to gain? And if there is an incident or his own mistake, could that allow Harris through to just close a few more points up on the championship leader in the Gold Championship, though? But what a race so far. 21 seconds. Tell you what, we're seeing a bit of Sam Williams in Mezzin tonight. Just dominant, likes to flag at the moment. Well clear of the rest of the pack. But what a fight this is. Just down to Mackenzie on the back of McGowan in the Nissan, seeing as I've got Langley back in the commentary box. And Gillies here, still on the back of Manavola, that's bringing Messino, Matt Wright and Benny Varga into play. And you've got to love optimism.
This Honda's really good in a straight line. Even against the Ford with that power restrictor, he's defending the inside. Can Gillies go right round the outside? Going to be hard through that double apex first turn, but not going to happen there. But that Honda, very good in a straight line.
It is indeed. Now, Langley, you've got to love somebody with a bit of optimism, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike
context?
Matthews asked in the chat for the fastest lap when he pitted. Oh, that is Vasic, who is backwards on the pit entry. And he is right around, blocking the pit lane. Is he in the pits? Is he not? No, he's back out on track. So he's had a moment on his own there at Mike Matthews' box because he's 2 laps down in this race. He's going for the fastest lap of Mezin's 22.3 at the moment. And he said in the chat that I've only just seen, probably not going to get it, but worth a punt. Nothing else for me to...
Boy, they're scrapping at the corkscrew right now. Massive scrap. Matt Wright, Messino, Menavola, Benny Varga, not Gillies. Gillies a little bit up the road. But Messino, Menavola, Matt Wright, Benny Varga, all having a massive scrap at the corkscrew. And then up the field, Overtaker, Hibbs, all glued to each other as well.
With Ben Rook, who's trying to recover from his earlier spin that gave him damage in the wall. Has Vasic been watching me on the pit entry lane? No, that yours was still way better than that, John. Don't worry. Yours was still more entertaining than that one.
Messino up the inside of Manavola now.
Oh, Class, sorry, Langley. Class and Leger side by side through the corkscrew. Class, has he got the job done? Yes, he has. And he's moved up into 3rd overall. Little wiggle from Leger on exit. This could allow Vitas to have a look. I've pressed the wrong driver. Leger's wide and Vitas is through. And is this going to allow Vitas to attack Class? Not into the final corner. But what a bit of racing we're seeing here at Laguna Seca.
This could leave the door open for Vitas in the slipstream down to the first corner. Can he have a look on Class? It would be for the overall podium. Class doesn't want to take any risks, as you said. Vitas very deep on the brakes into the first corner, but Class has it covered off for the time being.
He does have it covered off for the time being. Back down to Ben Rook and Pletisek and Hibbs and Overtaker and Ian McGowan, with Mackenzie not far behind. They're all having a good little scrap. In fact, Pletisek having a look on the back of Hibbs. Stays behind, though, into turn 1. Messino and Manavola going at it. Matt Wright's had a spin on the exit of the corkscrew. He's about to be unlapped by his teammate on fresh tyres, pushing... as Matt Wright nearly bounces over the sausage curbs into his teammate. Matt's got some big damage. And nothing like your teammate to put you off to when you try and set the fastest lap of the race for an extra point.
Yeah, exactly. Benny Varga's under a bit of pressure from Gleason now. In the first turn, Benny Varga parks it in the middle of the track, makes Gleason go the long way around, and it looks like he's done well to defend there.
He has indeed. And just seeing in the chat, John saying, come on, Class. And then... I believe Class's family member, as Gleason has a look on Benny Varga, says, what racing between Class, Vitas and Leger? Class has to be careful to secure his first place in gold. Indeed he does. Mackenzie now trying to go side by side with Pletisek on the corkscrew. Once again, back-to-back overtakes at the corkscrew we've seen here at Laguna Seca. Side by side, and the Nissan goes through. Great move from Mackenzie. McGowan now on the back of Ben Rook. Rook's up to 10th. So Pletsek's dropped from in front to Rook to behind Mackenzie here. And has Vitas got enough to get past Class in this race? They've pulled a second ahead of Leger. And with 7 minutes left, Harris 13.2 behind. That seems like a big tall order to make up. But it is non-stop once again. And Gleason's made a mistake at the corkscrew because he's felt, oh, maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's let Mezin through. Actually through the corkscrew, and Mike may get an extra place in this one. And we have lost another driver. We have lost in this race, I believe, Ugoni has retired. Indeed he has. So that'll be his qualifying ban served, and then another qualifying ban coming his way for the retirement, sadly for him. Oh, got to catch my breath a little bit here. It's been absolutely fantastic at the moment.
I think the one thing that's made the difference over this to Pro-Am is the active gaps on track, and with it being more of a pack, you have that one slip up and you will slide 5-6 places down the order, and we had those gaps in Pro-Am, which kind of led to some dull moments. There was some still great racing on track, but some of the gaps being 3-4 seconds at times, and the pack's pretty spread out. These packs have stuck together in this one, it seems, and making for a sprint. Basically, right at the end, everyone nose to tail with each other.
And I've just seen in the Discord, Ugoni's internet has just died on him, so shame for Ugoni there. So it will not be classed as a...
I'll have a beer for you.
As a retirement. Yeah, you've had internet problems tonight. Mr. Fastest Lap is in a wall. Mike Matthews has had a spin as he approaches turn 6. Mike, just put another set of tyres on, repair the damage, and try again. In this race, you've got nothing else to lose. Ben Ruck gaining on the back of his. Probably will run out of tyres, to be fair, at some point.
Manavola's looking on Messino last corner. Very optimistic move. Is that going to leave the door open for Benny Varga? They're near 3 wide onto the main straight.
Benny Varga had a bit of a look, and Messino and Manavola going side by side. Messino in the lighter blue Mustang, Manavola in the purple Mustang. Benny Varga in that BMW M4 with Gleeson just behind. Little bit of contact, Manavola deep onto Messino. Benny Varga gets out of it and taps the rear of Messino around, and Benny Varga spins himself on pit exit as well as Vasic exits the pit. Back onto the track. Mike has no more tyres, he's saying in the chat as well. And he's on the same lap as no, he's ahead of Vasic, it's saying now. DeCourt is on the back of Matt Wright.
Class as well. Vitas all over the back of Class. This is for the podium. Is he going to have a look? Class parks it in the middle. Well done to him. Vitas very tentative. He hits Class around.
Class has been hit
around, and they're parked. They're parked.
Legay's hit him.
Collect them.
Oh my days!
Oh my goodness!
He's into the back of them, and Class somehow may still hang on for P3. He will hang on for P3. This is what we said for Class. He could be in danger. His tyres are screaming due to that spin. He slides through turn 3, and somehow now Leger is back in play. And where is Michael Harris? Still way too far behind. But this is the problem for Class, putting himself in these positions. Maybe it'd be best to let Vitas go. The points this high up are there's so much gap between them. As Leger gets past Vitas now, Class needs to hope and pray that he can hang on for this P3. Oh, what a race we're being treated to at the end again.
Vitas all over the back. He's already hit one McLaren. Is he going to hit a Ferrari now? Looks to the outside of the corkscrew. Leger hangs on deeper on the brakes and stays ahead. Leger has the worst tires out of this pack of 3. But yeah, that one was all on Vitas. It just hits the back of Class, and then it was just unlucky. Leger had nowhere to go. I think Vitas was trying to wait up and let Class keep the position, and just unlucky for Leger to get caught up in that. But just a massive gap back to the rest of the pack. Only 3 minutes left. I wish there was another 30 minutes.
I bet you
might get that.
I bet you wish you tuned in a little bit earlier. Look at this train though behind Overtaker. Overtaker, Hibbs, Rook, McGowan, McKenzie, Pletisek. And then, now what is Pletisek, then McKenzie. Don't forget, by the way, Leger and Vitas are fighting for that final podium spot in Platinum. So they're still fighting hard for that podium in Platinum. Remember, points are scored overall if you are new to SimPlay Motorsport. Ben Ruck now looking on the back of Hibbs. Hibbs trying to defend for his life at the moment from Ben Ruck. Just wants to secure that top 10, top 9 at the minute, should I say. Now can Leger get onto the back of Class and try and put him under pressure? What can Vitas do? And I'll tell you what, if they all come together again, Harris is only 7 seconds down the road. Rook is very close now to the back of Damien Hibbs once more. And is this Hibbs's chance? Is this Rook's chance to have a look to try and get past? He struggled tonight. He said off air, the Lamborghini does not like the hotter track temperatures. This is why Ben Rook has looked phenomenal all season. We get to the hottest race of the season so far, and that Lamborghini just struggling a little bit. Radic's not here, so he'll get his drop score, and Ben not close enough to Hibbs to make a move. What about Leger, Class, and Vitas? Vitas struggling now.
Just damage limitation for Ben Rook tonight. Still a half a championship's worth to go. And yeah, some crazy action. I mean, heart-stopping moments, basically.
Well, we've got 2 laps left, because Mezin's going to finish this one, and we'll start one more after this. So these guys have got 2 laps left to go. So do Hibbs and Rook and McGowan and Overtaker and Pletisek and McKenzie. And what a race. Down the bottom end as well, Manavola's got Gleeson. Keeping him honest, in fact keeping him very honest. Look to the outside of the penultimate corner. Gleeson looks to get the run on Manavola, who just dips a wheel into the gravel. Manavola looked like he was entering the pit lane there, but he was just so tight. Parks it on the apex. Gleeson turns in on him and they make contact. They both keep going though. Comore trying to chase down on Messino in this race as well. What a race it has been. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. We have had a 3rd retirement from this one. And I believe that is Gluhak, the new driver, has had a retirement sadly for him, on his GT3 debut. And Pletzek on the back of Ian McGowan. Look at this train. Mackenzie's missed the corkscrew by a mile. And look at this train all behind Overtaker at the moment.
Yeah, it is unbelievable how close these guys are at the end of the race. And it's being held up, if I do say so myself. That Ford is pretty good in a straight line. But Hibbs, Ben's going to have a look on Hibbs into the final corner. Hibbs gives him plenty of space. Very fair racing there. And they're going to be side by side here. We'll see if that leaves the door open for McGowan right behind him. We're going to have a last lap scrap here, just like we did last night. McGowan's opportunistic, looks up the inside of Hibbs as well. Ben gets the move done initially, and then, ooh, that was a very optimistic move there from Pletzek, trying to get through the three of them.
Sorry, Langley. Here comes Mezin. He's about to win the race. He crosses the line to take the race win and the fastest lap. Keep your eyes on that fight. I'm just dropping back to Schmidt in P2. But yeah, like you say, Rook up and Rook sold Hibbs there, the dummy at the final corner. Brilliant move from Rook. McGowan, great move to be opportunistic as well. A lot of drivers finishing a lap down further behind. Here comes Schmidt though for a solid P2. I'm going to change to Class in a moment because I don't think that fight is done, because I think Leger is going to be close to him. Here comes Schmidt for the P2
close.
though. Here then is Class. Third place, needs to get this corner right, dips a wheel in the gravel, sort of parks it in the middle of the road. He's going to park it on the apex. Class is going to win in gold. Has Leger got the run out the final corner? No, he hasn't. Class comes across to defend. The SimPlay drivers finish loads of laps down and side by side.
Overtaker.
We drop now back down to Harris. In fact, no, let's just go down to Overtaker at the moment. Harris will be second in gold. Overtaker's wide! He's wide! And this allows Ben Rook to get the run. And Ben Rook somehow is going to claim P8. Overall, what a drive. Harris second in gold from Cardno, third in gold. Richie Michelle, we await to come to the line. Oh my, I need to take a breather because that was absolutely phenomenal racing.
The great race toward the end. Ben somehow, some way salvages P8 in this race and does not lose too many points in the championship. With him also, he finished P2 race 1, if I saw that correctly. Championship fight still on, and still on, and great damage limitation from him here tonight.
Yeah, it really was great damage limitation from him. We'll see who joins the commentary box in just a few moments' time, but what a race that was to be a part of. I bet you're glad you joined for the final 10 or so minutes in that one there.
Glad I got to join for the final 15 minutes or so. See if that's more often in the future.
Yeah, Sokolov then, where did he finish in this one? He was a DNF. I've put that on the pole position column, not on his race columns. There we go. Mike Matthews, he got up to 25. No fastest lap though, but hey, you've got to be optimistic, I suppose. Pletzek got to come across 13th. No Skunky, no Cosme, no Cairns in this one. And in the gold championship, Class then P3. Great result for Class in this one. I'm just going to try and get these points inputted quickly for you, so that I can get the podium started. The Lexus of Harris. Well, Harris, second place as well. Good result in the gold category. 6th overall. Hibbs, P11 in the end in gold. Overall. Messino was down in 18th. DeCourt down in 22nd. Richie Michelle was 14th. Lacked the pace in the final parts of that one. Gillies, P15. Tom Cardno. 2 podiums for Tom Cardno in the gold category tonight. Great results for him. Benny Varga was 20th. Not too bad for Benny Varga. Gleason, 17th. Matt Wright, 24th. Manavola was 16th. Micah wasn't here. Ugoni retired. Vasic was 26th for him. No Jimenez, no Langley, no Van der Ven, no Wainwright. Rob Smith. Where did Rob Smith finish? 23rd in this race. Right, has anybody joined us at the moment? We have got 2 of the drivers, 3 of the drivers have just joined. But let's just quickly run through. Now, these are provisional results. In fact, no, let's chat with Michael Harris first of all. Mike, decent night's worth of racing from yourself tonight. Couple of podiums to talk about. Not quite the race win, though, that you'd have wanted in the gold category. But just talks about race 1, not the race you'd have wanted there.
No, it was a case of everybody scrambling for position by the looks of it. I try to keep in a gap sort of thing, but everybody who was already off track, it just looked as if they dove for the second apex of that corner. So after that, it was just pure carnage. But I decided not to pit for like damage. Just held it out to the last moment of pit. And obviously, I think I made up a few places due to other people having laps and stuff like that. But race 1, obviously, it was a bit of a write-off. But race 2 was okay. I mean, qualifying, I don't know where Klaus's pace came from tonight in qualifying. Wow, he is quick round here. Same in race pace as well. So fair play to him for getting the class win. But my pace, I kind of struggled a little bit at the start. But once I kind of got in a few laps there, it was just getting in the zone. I had a decent little fight with, I think it was Overtaker and Richie at one point. Obviously, one of them coming off a little bit worse. But with Overtake, obviously, we go back quite a bit. I think we've got a gentleman's agreement between ourselves now. So, yeah, we had a good little fight. Obviously, P6 overall, P2 in class. Pretty pleased with how the second race panned out, really.
Yeah, it was a good second race. I bet your eyes lit up towards the end there when you saw the time to class come down.
Yeah. I tried to go a little bit quicker myself. I ended up going a little bit slower. But it's just one of them things. A little bit of adrenaline to get going. But no, we just kind of kept it as we were.
We head to Snetterton next week. Should be a pretty good track for the Lexus. Couple of good long straights there for the Lexus to utilise its pace in the straight line. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it, to be honest. It's not everybody's favourite track, but I know the last time I ran the Lexus there, I nearly surprised, I think, everybody, including Dan Davies, almost getting pole. But obviously the times are a lot quicker now, so we'll just see how things pan out.
Indeed. Well, congratulations, Snipe, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And we'll move over to Ben Rook. Ben, not the night you'd have probably been hoping for. You did say, though, off air that the Lamborghini just does seem to struggle in them hotter temperatures. Was that the case tonight? Because it didn't look like you had that outright pace.
No, I think it's just down to my mistake. I hit the race 2. I hit the inside curb on turn 4, swung me around and hit a wall. So tried to stay out for a couple of laps and yeah, it didn't work. So I had to eventually repair it and sat in the pits for 52 seconds. So it wasn't ideal, but up to P8, I'm still gaining points on the Schmitz. So I'll take it.
It was an epic fight at the very end of that race. You really put the pressure on Overtaker towards the end, and he made that little mistake coming through the final corner. That allowed you to then just get past him. It was about working your way through the traffic, wasn't it, in that second race?
Yeah, absolutely. That was I had people let me go, thankfully, which was really helpful. Thanks to everyone. But when I got up to then Hibbs and Overtaker, they were defending well. But I eventually got the pressure on them, or they just made a silly mistake and got down the inside.
Now, we head to Snetterton next week. We had a little bit of a giggle about it off air. The last time we raced at Snetterton, you were so far in the lead in race 2, made your own mistake. Is that going to be in your mind going into next week, or is it, again, sort of clean week, fresh week? Let's see what we can do.
Completely clean week. 2 seasons ago now, it's quite a while, so still gives me trauma, but I'm just going to forget about it.
Indeed. And finally, I suppose, what can you do next week?
Hopefully the same kind of thing, but without the mistake. That would be brilliant, and I think I can. Because O'Reilly was quick 2 seasons ago, and I still managed to beat him. McGowan was there in the McLaren, I think, if I remember correctly, and he was bloody quick. So I still managed to outpace him. So hopefully the same thing.
Well, congratulations, Snap. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks. Congrats to the podium as well.
And we've got Mezin in with us as well. Well, what can I say, really? Thankfully, you got pole position and it didn't teleport you back to the pits at the start. And, well, good for you. It was a pretty quiet, lonely race out front.
Yeah, I was thankful for just a race without any drama, any accidents, no disconnects, or just realized my pace. Just enjoyed it. Laguna Seca is a great track, although I'm scared of this, especially this corner before Rahal Straight with sausage on the inside. Was a bit feared when I was driving around, but it was all good, gladly, and yeah, I liked it.
Good race from yourself, and really the race you kind of needed to try and get into that second half of the season and start that momentum to go now, isn't it, for that championship push and try and get yourself back in it?
Yeah, that's for sure. Every stage is new stage, and I'll be just doing what I can. Hope there won't be any drama next time. Hope it all will be a bit easier and calmer than all last stages. And also, well, I learn every single stage, every race is a lot of experience to me, and I get better, especially in pits. Yeah. I'm terrible at it, but I'm getting better. So
we head to Snetterton next week. What's your thoughts on that one? Weather looks a little bit mixed at the moment. We'll see what the forecast brings come next week. But what's your thoughts on Snetterton?
I liked it on GT4. I didn't drive it a lot. I'm not sure if I'm gonna perform better than on Laguna, as I don't know this track on GT3. But it's just a matter of my preparation and yeah.
Well, congratulations on the race 2 win. Yeah, fantastic result from yourself, buddy, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good night. See you next week.
And Langley, I suppose let's get a driver of the day from you. I know you was only in the box for 15 minutes, but let's get a driver of the day from you.
I would have no idea. Where'd Class finish in race 1?
He was. He was 13th.
And what was that in Class? If you know,
2, 3,
off the top of your head.
About 5th.
I'll give him driver of the day and gold, and since he got an overall podium as well, or yeah, and I really do. I mean that was pretty dominant from Mezin.
Well,
so
Mezin was a win, fastest lap, pole position, and a 4th in race 1.
So it'd be hard not to give it to him, but Ben damage limitation in race 2 pretty impressive as well. But I'll give it to Mezin.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Mezin, but I'm going to go Cardno. 2 podiums for Cardno tonight in the gold class. So I'm going to go the way of Cardno in gold. The fans' vote for driver of the day went the way of Class. Fair play, because he's had a phenomenal night tonight and a great bit of racing. But that is all we have time for here at SimPlay Motorsport. Don't forget to join us live next week for Snetterton Who Darren Cup on Tuesday evening. Will be brought to you by Tinnis. Me and Langley will be back in the box on Wednesday night, and I'll be back on Thursday for the Pro Series. All at Snetterton. In back on British soil. Get away from these American tracks for just a week, because the week after it is back over to America for the second and final of the 90-minute races and the evening race at Indianapolis. A big thank you once again to Design Manchester and Big Apple Logistics, who are our fantastic sponsors for the series. And if you want to check out their things, their merchandise and what they do, the links to their stuff is in the description below. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we will see you in a week's time for Snetterton. From me, Langley, and all the team. Bye.